One community, 3 tiers, 44 teams, and nearly 200 matches played. It's all led to this. Welcome to the playoffs, where the pretenders get eliminated, no second chances are given, and only the strong will survive. We'll see dominant performances, we'll see rivals clash, and we'll see shocking upsets. Players and teams of all skill levels have practiced for months to get here, giving it everything they have, but at the end of the day, only one will achieve: tranquility.
Overwatch community here at Overwatch Tranquility, though, it's time for a little bit of semifinal action. We've got Boop taking on Holy Jalapenos in what's bound to be a slugfest for the ages. Bringing all the action at you, it's me, I am Door, and I am joined by the always amazing Booth. How are you doing today?
Doing good, man. This is a really exciting match to come out tonight. These are like the two top teams I had listed here in the Harmony tier, and really cool to see they've made it this far and be able to duke it back out again tonight. I know both teams are out for the win because the winner gets to move on to the finals.
I mean, I know you and I spoke about it before, but God, these rosters are just loaded, aren't they?
Just stacked. It's insane. I don't know how their Harmony tier rosters, to be honest.
Yeah, both of these teams looking to move on forward. Starting on the Boop side, though, we're going to be playing around with Chicane, Mr. Trippy Cow, Alayla, Waffle Man, Happy Bee, and Kenny. And rounding out the Holy Jalapenos end of things, we've got Abe, Bethcon, Malalia, Pog, Vet, and Snipper, keeping things spicy on that end of the board. And honestly, looking at these two teams' records, they have both popped off this season. You want to kind of take us through some of these important matchups and how they've ended up seeded how they are?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people are probably confused on how Boop is our fifth seeded team, ending the season 8-1. Actually, they were undefeated in Stage 1. They ended up losing to the Holy Jalapenos actually in Stage 2 in a 4-0 game, and the map differential was strong enough to push them down to the fifth seed here in our playoff seedings. Holy Jalapenos ended 6-3 here on the season, but got our number 1 seed because of their performance in Stage 2. But both teams have both beaten and lost to each other, tied 1-1 in their series here so far. Again, though, both teams have had pretty good of their previous weeks. We had Holy Jalapenos with a 4-0 win over Paradise, and Boop taking on Jetpack Cats in the last week, won 4-1. So both coming off of pretty strong performances here at the playoffs. But really, it just comes down to who's going to have the vengeance, who's going to take 2-1 on the season here between the two teams.
I mean, only move on. I think there's something of being a little bit of a victory heading one of these teams played, or when they played up against one another previously, right? The Holy Jalapenos took it in 0-4 fashion, which is crazy because Boop, that's their only loss. Like, the Holy Jalapenos seem to be the one bane of their existence. So if they can tie this this Holy Jalapenos gap in their play, you know how good that looks for them heading on into finals?
Oh, it looks very good for them. Boop did beat Modify back in week 6, 3-2, and they also beat Flashbacks in the first week, which the winner of that game will be moving on to the finals as well. So Boop kind of know what they're going to be going up against. Holy Jalapenos did lose to Modify in week 7. They did beat Flashbacks into week 4, but Boop kind of having that in their back pocket, knowing that they beat the other two possible teams, the two possible teams they could go up against at the finals, has got to be pretty good for them.
I mean, it's crazy, though. You look at this Boop roster, and Boop, a team that, although a couple of new names coming in this season, they haven't historically been the greatest in Tranquility. They've tended to struggle and stayed towards more the bottom of these brackets. But coming in, I mean, they've made such a statement this season. You can't help but feel proud of them.
Oh, you definitely have to. They had probably the biggest turnaround you've seen anywhere inside of Tranquility. Not even making the playoffs last season to now, I mean, just dominating the regular season with the best record in the Harmony tier. Just that one loss, the only thing glistening on their side there. The rest of their games in pretty dominant fashion, they've been able to win so far. So if they're the side of Boop, this is kind of like, they really want to get back to this one just kind of for the mental aspect of it, right? You know, I mean, this is the only team that's really faltered their way at all. And if they can get through this, they got to really like their chances to be able to win here in the finals.
Yeah, and now that we've talked about these teams a little bit, let's start to talk about what's happening meta-wise, hero ban-wise. What do you see going down? What's happened recently? I know these hero bans, a lot of people are a fan of them. They are particularly interesting, although I may not be the greatest at playing them.
Yeah, none of my real best heroes either here, but I think everybody was really happy to see Mei be banned this week. For those not familiar, we do have Mei, Tracer, Risa, and Moira banned this week. Mei and Moira kind of being probably two of the least favorite heroes on the roster, I gotta say, if you ask like the general Overwatch public. As we saw in our featured match last night, we saw Double Shield really not being able to, you can't really run it without having the Risa in the fashion that you would. And even if Risa wasn't unbanned, I mean, if Risa was not the banned tank at the given moment, not being able to play the Moira or the Mei has to hurt that double shield composition a lot. So it's probably going to open up teams a little bit to be a bit more deathball-y. You're going to see, might be able to see a little bit of dive, even though Tracer's not going to be in the mix. There's still other heroes that are be able to use here. You might see like some Echo popping up for people. But I'm excited not to see double shield. It's not like it's a boring thing to watch per se. I think
don't jinx us yet,
boring.
We're still knocking on wood here.
But you know, Ryan Sig, if I'm seeing double shield, I don't mind Ryan Sig. Reinhardt's are still aggressive enough.
A definitive upgrade, right, from the Orisa Sigma.
Besides just sitting there, breaking the Orisa shield, getting your pulls, shoot into the pole, reset the shield, use coalescence to break bongos, repeat.
See, I'm so conflicted. Like, over all my time playing on teams, whether it be in University or whether it be in Open Division, I've played Mei. I enjoy playing Mei, right? I think it's super cool what she does tactically. I think her abilities are interesting in the way that they manipulate the map. I totally agree she's completely unhealthy for the game, though, and slows it down. It's so much more fun to watch when she's not in it. And so this is going to be a delight to actually see come out and break down. And honestly, what these teams are even going to be running in this first. But here, actually, the Mei might... Or wait, no, the Mei's not available. So that shifts up Nepal Village a lot.
Yeah, it really does. You might see teams playing a little bit further out, not inside of points. You might see some echoes coming out of the teams here. Sometimes Symmetra strats to get into point. You see Miss Trippy Cow over on the side of Boop already looking like they're going to lock in that pharmacy composition. Going to put in a little bit of damage. The Jalapeno still picking heroes around, but you see Abe opening up on that Symmetra, maybe expecting the teleporter and then switching over to the Reaper, or even just staying on the Symmetra. Not a terrible pick here in those close combats brawls here that you have on control points. But it kind of forces teams, you don't have to really sit in the middle. You can stick out a bit. You try to get a little bit of picks, and both teams look like they're probably going to be doing that here at the beginning.
If you don't like locking in the Mei Reaper here, I'm a big fan of just running the spam, take the high ground, hold on to it, and just fight from there. Look to spam them out of the point, find an early kill somewhere.
Might have lost a door there on a disconnect there, so Trippy Cow already... Oh, there we go.
Trippy Cow's good.
Already back there? Okay, door's back. Maybe not? Okay, I'm just going to start talking here.
Exactly, it looks like that if he flies directly in there.
Okay, looks like doors get into a little bit of issues, so we'll let him maybe reset here a little bit for us. Internet coming in the way. We see a quick flip already coming in for the Jalapenos, getting the point a lot quicker there with that Symmetra. And then Abe already be able to kill Kenny early in that fight. No shielding you there for them, but Trippy Cow is still able to kind of shoot into point here. You see him above point, already shooting in. Hi there, Door. Welcome back.
Oh, we're back. Thank God. And it seems like Holy Jalapenos have overcome that one-man disadvantage, haven't they? And we're already moving into another fight. No swap off for Mr. Trippy Cow. The barrage in tow right now. Push to point comes, and it's going to be Kenny eaten alive, but the barrage is trying to do even more. Trippy Cow dropped low, finally taken out. 2 kills going the way of Boop right now, but the sound barrier looks to turn that one right down. Just a little bit of time. They're going to continue to push out here. They still got the tools they need. The Shatter on top is going to finish off 2 on the ground, and 2 taken out. Zed dropped low, but it's not nearly enough for Boop to hold on to this point.
Oh, Snipper had an amazing beat there, being let the team keep pushing forward, and the clock just still ticking up for the Jalapenos. Regardless if they end up winning that fight, that time would have been huge for them, but now they're pushing back in. They have 3 ultimates on their side. Trippy Cow did do a lot of work there with that barrage, but not going to be up for them. Alayla, though, should have a pretty free grab if they're able to build up that ult here before this fight opens up. But you see how Trippy Cow is trying to push the side of the Jalapenos back onto point and give a little bit of space here for their team to push in.
Well, trying to give them space, but right now they only can rely on this car wash that's waiting inside the point. Booper being patient, but that's going to be the death of them. They've already lost Happy Bee to the McCree of Pog. Damage, or they need to get this press through. That they will. Basically, get out of jail free card for them as Kenny comes up. Wolfman, though, sleeping on the job. Needs to be careful about their engagement timing. They're using a lot of resources just sitting outside the point, not doing anything. They don't get a kill for it. They'll get punished, but they do manage to. They shove the Graviton Surge in afterwards, and it is clean up time here for...
Wow, yeah, they did. They had to invest a lot to win that fight there, but now they already have the Shatter back up. Trippy Cow also has the Barrage available, and then Holy Jalapenos knew those ultimates were coming. Didn't really ended up investing too much into the fight. You see Abe switching over to the Hanzo now. They still have this Nano Boost and the High Noon available. You're gonna expect probably Malalia to shoot that Nano Boost over on Devet on the Reinhardt to try to build up that Shatter. And Snipper now is gonna have a beat to be able to use from the get aggressive. Jalapeno should take this. Yeah.
Decision though to hold on to their ultimates. Now they can just use them, take over point, block the Shatter immediately that it came out of Kenny. Now it's their turn. Ape drops in with a Storm Arrow. He's finding so much value. The Sound Barrier though can turn this one right on its head. That doesn't even matter. It comes out, doesn't find any value. Instead, just a dead eye to the dome here for Miss Trippy Cows. Holy Jalapenos ultimate economy usage is gonna pay off for him in a map.
It did. They balanced across everything so well. They didn't even have to end up using the Shatter or the Nano Boost there at the end. Bethcon didn't even need to get off the Graviton Surge as well. So they were really good job of just rotating their ults around. I think they used their beat really at a really good way. Sometimes you're going to save those for the Graviton Surges, but they used it to end up winning some of the fights that Boop really heavily invested ultimates in, and it paid off for them really well at the end.
Yeah, I mean, it shows their mastery. It shows why they've gotten this far. And holding on to those ultimates is definitely a conscious decision, right? They say, okay, we're going to get Graviton Surge. They're going to commit heavily into this. We'll get as many resources as we can. Move on to the next map. And do we see any change in composition is the question. We don't see the Pharah. In fact, we do.
Not really. Oh, yeah, the Pharah on Waffleman's still up and running. I mean, Abe's over on the Hanzo here now.
Value here?
Yeah, it might just find a little bit of value. I mean, Pog's going to have a lot of job there on the McCree to put damages, and Abe's going to open up on the Hanzo as well. It should do a little bit more added pressure.
So much pressure going into Kenny's shield right now, but this far from Wolfman just needs time to dish out damage, right? As long as Boop are alive, and they won't be much longer with Happy Bee down as well as Trippy Cow. Oh god, it's a slaughter on the point, and Holy Jalapenos are the ones delivering.
Yeah, it looks like Boop's just trying to play it a little slow here. Kenny holding up the shield and trying to let Waffleman get some picks before they go in, but the shield break's just too much for the side of the Holy Jalapenos. Abe and Pog doing a great job of just pushing down the shield. Kenny wasn't able to block through the damage, and then Jalapenos are just able to keep pushing through. And Pog doing a lot of work so far, but Waffleman still is getting pretty high here on the barrage. Already up to 75%. Definitely going to have it here when this fight breaks out for them. So they'll have that to open up with. Pog going to be getting close to that High Noon, though, as well to use in this fight.
Neutral fight here for Holy Jalapenos, but they've lost one already. Kenny finds an early fire strike. Trippy Cow follows up, and these fights are ending before they've even begun here. Vet manages to trade one out. That makes it a little uncertain here for Boop, but they've managed to find enough kills in the meantime that will not matter. They should be able to take this point right on over.
They didn't have to invest anything in that fight as well. Great job there from Boop. Those opening picks were massive for them. Now they're going to have the Valkyrie. They're going to have that Barrage still in their back pocket for this fight. Jalapenos probably have this High Noon and the beat drop here soon, but nothing really to invest with yet unless they try to take a little bit of poke here up top. Maybe try to get Waffleman down before this fight starts. But as long as Boop holds a pretty good position, it doesn't give too much poke up here to the Jalapenos. They should be in good shape in this fight.
Yeah, with that ultimate advantage, it's going to be really nice. Pog, though, could come up big. This Deadeye threatens the far, but already on the ground. They knew what was coming. Waffleman playing it real safe. Holy Jalapenos do get safe passage over to the point, though, along with their Shatter. Bet lining up, waiting for the perfect opportunity. Fire strike through from both sides. Neither get to take advantage of it. Now Shatter out from one. It's going to be Vet shatter that is the largest on the server right now. Waffleman, though, still alive, still on the far, still dishing out obscene amounts of damage. And I'll tell you what, one of these teams is running the spare main tank because Kenny gets picked right back up, and Boop are going to take the fight.
Trippy Cow just doing such a great job here on this Hanzo, getting a couple of picks there at the end and to initiate that fight. But now, Holy Jalapenos have a ton of ultimates to push in here for these fight wins. There's no defensive ult that's going to be on side here for Boop. They have the Grav Dragon to have to try to survive with here, but Waffleman still has this barrage, and so does Alayla with the Grav as well, so they'll be looking to maybe combo those here as well. But if Jalapenos can just get their Grav off first, they should be able to win this fight, but Boop definitely still have the advantage.
Oh, it's a grab trade, but both of them have Dragon. It's a slaughter. Oh my god, 4 members lost on either side, but Boop are coming out on top for the time being. Abe taken out. Habibi's done it in the Pharah that was able to stay out of the line of sight of the Dragon, that was able to stay up in the air, made the difference at the end of the day.
Oh, and they still have the Nano and the Barrage ready for them. Jalapenos are going to be tough to touch on the point here, but Boop's going to have the ultimates to deal with them too.
Oh, Boop have more of the tank. They've got a Nano up Reinhardt. He's dropped both of the anti-nades. Beautiful. Waffleman drops into barrage. Kills not only Lucio, but himself in the business. Bethcon comes in, defense majoring as much as they can, but his kills left and right. Vet remains alive, though, coming in solid on the Reinhardt, strong as ever. And Holy Jalapenos, they're going to get another take at this point.
They are. I do like the switches of Beth over to the Diva. Layla also mirroring that here as well. Looks like Boop's going to go in. They're going for the res as well. Ends up falling in the process. It looks like they're just trying to stall at points. I don't know.
Oh, Boop, they're coming in. Trippy Cow almost on a Dragon here. Should be coming in for the shadows, but Beth just shuts it down, and it's tracked. Still alive, though. Layla trying to make it count for as much as they can, but at this point, I think Boop just got to count their losses and make it out.
Yeah, good shatter there off of Vet, but now Pog and Abe both have ultimates built up after this for them. Maybe a little bit of a fat finger there from Pog over on the side of the Jalapenos, but maybe Boop were confused about who had the point there, still going in for the stalls. I liked them going in with it. They were able to build up their support ultimates, but it did also build up a couple of the DPS ultimates there for the Jalapenos. So we'll see if it's worth it for them here in this fight, though. But, I mean, Mr. Tripical does have another Dragon they can initiate with to try to split point off before they push in.
Yeah, without that far being a problem anymore as well, Waffleman has a lot of ground to make up, but it's just a pure damage off on these shields, on the defense matrices. The Dragon comes in, trying to split them up. Kenny follows up, working their way up to the Shadow. That could just end the fight, but Waffleman already proving his prowess on the McCree, the 6-shooter, so devastating in his hands. A couple of kills traded either way, but now it's a re-engagement here for Holy Jalapenos. Use the sound barrier to push it in. That anti-nade lands down onto Trippy Cow. Follow-up by Vet, and that hammer just looks so dangerous when it's in his hands, making sure nobody goes through this door. The charge comes through, doesn't find anybody though, but a flashbang from Waffleman. Now the point control of Holy Jalapenos. Boop can look to work their way back in with the shadow that finds absolutely everybody. Kenny puts them on the ground, lines them up, knocks them down, and ends this point for Boop.
Yeah, this was Boop's point to win here. They've really were strong at the end here. Kenny just having some insane shatters there at the end. And I think Alayla Zarya did a really good job as well for them in that point. I mean, even though that was 199, it really felt like Boop had a lot of the the upper hand there on that point.
I mean, what's wrong with these teams? My vocal cords. Dude, the ultimates coming out of these guys. The Dragons left and right, splitting teams, shatters down. The best defense for these guys just seems like a better offense at this point.
It really does. I mean, both these teams just have so much firepower coming out with these compositions for them. I mean, why play defensively when you just go in and get all the kills, right? I mean, I think that's the fun way to play Overwatch in the first place.
I've been really impressed, though, by Waffleman so far. No matter what he plays, he's found value. Now, back onto the Pharah. Now, this is kind of an old-school Pharah map, right? Inside of Sanctum, there's a lot of angles that you can play, and it got played for a long time before a few heroes got buffed, before a few things became meta. And now we're seeing him run it here. It'll be interesting to see whether he can actually find value, though, because Abe has locked in a Junkrat, as opposed to the McCree, which is going to be a different sort of dynamic. You're trying to take Waffleman out of the sky because it's not really an option. You just want to win the fight on the point, win this brawl, and take down Kenny. Kenny's going to be under so much pressure, and already we're seeing those Junkrat primary fires matter so much, but the Boop from Sniffer just does the business in the meantime. Abe now out, though. That point presence starting to go down, and Waffleman starting to become a real problem in the sky as he takes out Malali. Another kill down on the Sniffer. No supports alive for Holy Jalapenos. Getting picked apart like a jalapeno popper, and that they will. Point taken here for Boop.
Yeah, they were trying to do the like the Pharah attack where you just kind of ignore the Pharah and try to kill the rest of the team. But the healers over on Boop, Happy Bee did a great job keeping a lot of the team alive there. And Jalapenos were able to get the picks they needed early on. You see Abe now and Bethcon and Pog making swaps. You have the double hit scan and that Diva coming out on the side of the Holy Jalapenos trying to deal with this because Waffleman has just been dominant so far all across the ball, especially here on this Pharah.
Oh yeah, again, you can just look at the rate that he's charging these barrages. Well, Happy Bee nearing a nano. Kenny's got the shatter on the line. Nobody's close for Jalapenos here because they didn't get any damage through on their previous push. Now they're coming in completely butt naked, pushing on to this point. They don't have pressure against the Pharah. They are doing everything in their power to just stay alive at this point. But Boop are living. They chuck in the Dragon's Paw, drop down to 1 HP. My God, this man's living on a prayer. Oh, and Waffle Man with 1 rocket ends both the DPS's lives. Boop have done it again and look to hold on to their point.
Hold on to the point and have 5 ultimates waiting for them. Vet, though, getting that last little pick there onto Kenny. Both Reinhardts can be come back here at the same time, but Boop's going to have 5 ults waiting for them. Jalapenos, you see Dave now switching over to the Doomfist, maybe trying to put a little more pressure onto Kenny or onto Happy Bee on the side of Boop, but that's a lot of ultimates they got to be able to push through here to be able to take the point back. It's 66% now. It's looking pretty good for Boop.
So difficult here. Watch the bomb from Alayla, though. Could be placed perfectly. Waffleman again! 1, 2, searching for 3rd. The only thing stopping him is the sleep dart, but that doesn't even matter because he gets picked back up. A 3rd, a 4th kill to his name. A res onto Trippy Cow. These fights so one-sided. Jalapenos, they took map 1. They angered Boop, and that is all they did.
It is, and now they're going to have a tough time getting back. Abe going to have to be the one to touch here for the team. And there's still ult stuff. They have a Shattered Nano Boost, and they still have the Diva Bomb from Alayla. Boop could easily hold this here and not even give the chance for the Jalapenos to touch again.
Boop could just waiting for the shatter from Kenny that could end it all. Bomb over the top, bind Snipper. No sound barrier, though, means this fight is free for Boop. They push in. The support ultimate taken out. Another dragon for Mr. Chirpy Cow is going to be thrown in. And Boop are living so happily. Holy Jalapenos unable to dish out the heat.
They were not able to handle it. The Jalapenos doing trying to get a little bit of those ultimates back up to try to take that point back, but Boop just had the ult economy in that last fight. They held their things well together. Oh, we get to see the massive shatter Kenny had here at the end. Look at that 4K. 1 swing of a hammer. My God. That's every Reinhardt's dream right there.
I feel like it's been the story of the match, though. It's just huge ultimate after huge ultimate. I mean, what were we looking at? Dragons. We were looking at barrages coming out. God, the number of shatters that each of these guys was hitting was ridiculous, man.
Insane.
How excited are you now for map 2?
Oh, so excited for these teams. I mean, that was neck and neck across each way. You saw Boop really take over there on Sanctum at the end, but every point was really pretty closely contested. I think the DPS on both sides as well. It looks like Boop kind of shining a little bit brighter right now. Waffleman did such a great job. I really want to see what Abe and the side of the Holy Jalapenos are able to do here on their attack here with their DPS. The Holy Jalapenos will have map choice here again. So going to be picking their assault map, which for reference for the viewers, the maps that they can pick from tonight are part of our hero pool: Hanamura, Horizon Lunar Colony, and Temple of Anubis. And if I'm them, I mean, you kind of want to maybe pick something not as Pharah oriented. I mean, Horizon's just an awful map in general. I don't think anybody really wants to play that.
I'm going to stop you there, Booth. I have been the largest proprietor in recent times for the Horizon Lunar Colony pocket pick. Oh. Right? You just practice it. Nobody else will. Everybody refuses to. But you break it out, you catch a team off guard, but we're going to Hanamura anyways here. Seems like the Holy Jalapenos want to go to Reliable.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him there at all. I think that's a pretty good pick. Maybe not going to see the Pharah coming out. Maybe sometimes you see it on the attack. But actually, I think we're going to give a couple of updates early on here from our other games that are in session so far. Just a reminder for people, we have 5 other matches going on tonight. A couple of updates coming out. First here from the Discord tier from Holy Habaneros against Tough Luck. We have Tough Luck up 0-1 here so far. And then also out of the Discord tier, we have the Hanamura Hellhounds up 1-0 over Caliber. And then also in the Harmony tier, here. We have Flashbacks currently up 1-0 against Modify. Still waiting to get some updates from our 2 Transcendence tier matches going on tonight. Havoc is taking on Rebellion, and Pogfish is still taking on Second Chance. But at the moment, Flashbacks up on Modify. They'll be, whoever wins that match will be playing against the winner of our game here tonight.
Scary proposition for either team, but let's kind of hop back into the match that we've going on right now. And I think one of the biggest things that's predicated, and I want to get your opinion on this, has got to be the ultimate economy. And this is because both of the teams are so good at playing it that the first person to take over whatever point they were playing on seemed to just control the game because they took a stranglehold on the ultimate economy.
Yeah, they were able just to push in, build up those ults real quickly. But both teams, especially you saw on Nepal Village, when the Jalapenos map that they won, how well they were able to rotate their ultimates through. Didn't even have to use all of them to end up winning the point. And then how well Boop did at the very end, having 5 ultimates going into the last couple of fights there and spacing them out perfectly. So that's going to be the name of the game here, again, for both teams on Hanamura, where snowballs can happen so easily still on assault maps, even though these changes they've had to the times for the attacking teams and the respawn changes for the defending teams, the snowball potential is still big, and a quick first take from these teams can build up enough ultimates quickly that they can snowball a quick second point team. So both teams are going to have to be really focusing on what ultimates they're using in these fights and building up the economies to be able to try to get as much time on the clock left after taking these points.
I mean, I know they've had the time change, but you've already mentioned it. The snowball coming through. Both these teams look like they're fully capable of using that ultimate advantage to snowball. So my question to you is, how many rounds of Hanamura can you stand before you go insane?
I think my record is I've done 9. So like 4 to 5 was the end. And I think it was like 4 p.m. on like a Friday or something, or like on a Saturday, and I just went to sleep. I was like, that's enough. I can't be bothered to do anything else productive today.
We've all been there. It's not a good time, but oh my god, you know what it is. Mr. Trippy Cow locking in a Torbjorn. Oh my god, it's my favorite. This is a foil to many a team, but god, do I love to see it.
You're seeing it a lot more in matches right now. Torb just being a pretty strong pick. Even in OWL, you're seeing teams pull it out here. But interesting how they're bunkered up here. Pog, though, on that Symmetra, if they're able to teleport away and kind of deny some of the silence of this turret, it could be pretty big for the side of the Jalapenos.
Oh, already on point. That turret's barely even going to matter. Kenny gets anti-nated. Veto stunned out of the charge. Saves his life. Now having to hold on to this point that they made their way on to. Bethcon takes down Kenny, beams him out of the way. Sir Blake fisted people left and right. Who's next for the take? And it's going to be the Torbjorn. And it's just like a game show at this point. Step up, take your turn, and you know what? Each and every one of the members of Boop has won a fist to the face.
Yeah, Sir Blake being massive there. You see Waffleman still getting picks, but the spawn advantage will be there for the Jalapenos. They're able to take lightning quick speed here. 3:14 left there, so that's going to give them a whole 6 minutes and 10 seconds to hold. Now, no real ultimate's going to be up. You see Pog switching over to the Hanzo now off that Symmetra, so they're not going to have tons of ultimates available for this snowball. Going to be pretty matched economy for each team here. But with 6 minutes left, it doesn't really matter if you get a snowball right off the bat. That's so much time bank for them.
Yeah, Holy Jalapenos are vibing their way onto the point here. They could charge their way up to that Space Jam combo. Of course, there are the sport ultimates that could be coming up just in time for that, but they need to be very, very careful about how they approach this push. Not giving Boop too much ultimate charge is going to be key. Now just buying time as they approach. Shots left and right, but the engagement has not happened yet. These teams playing so patiently, waiting for those ultimates to come up. Bethcon at 70%, and Chicane at 6. Man from the high ground, not waiting for anybody. Deadeye finds 2, and the cleanup for Boop is gorgeous. About ultimate economy, we talk about ultimate advantages, but it only takes 1 for this side.
Yeah, it did, and Waffleman was able to get enough poke there as the Holy Jalapenos kind of just pushed up to the top and just hung about there, vibed for a little bit. But the whole time, Waffleman was putting pressure into these teams, and now Pog switching over to the Reaper now. So Reaper Doomfist coming out for the Jalapenos, getting really close to that Space Jam composition. Vet here does have the Shatter. Kenny not up with theirs yet. So a quick initiation for them before ultimates are being able to build up for Boop, because they're getting really close to having 5 ultimates of their own.
We're still on the edge, though. Chicane is so close to the sound barrier that could shut down all of Holy Jalapenos' plans. Let's see if he can get it up in time here. It's Holy Jalapenos. They're pressing on the gas pedal. Okay, maybe a little bit of reverse here, and they're playing very patiently down here. They're waiting for their own combo. They know Bethcon is so close, but Chicane, 93, 94 here. It is dead even for these teams, but the Shatter looks to shut him down. Doesn't find much of any value. The Dragon up on through. Trippy Cow could have ended this before it even got a chance to begin. Now pushing back onto point here. Boop, come in strong. Graviton Surge up for but will they use as a question? Fired out is going to be Boofs. The counter, even from Holy Jalapenos, it looks like it's just enough value, but they have lost a couple players on the way. Now the contest out from Boop. They got to start thinking about the stall, about the recontest, as they are bleeding profusely. Beaten and battered, but not out of this fight. They've got the amplification matrix coming through. Habibi nearly goes down, but Blake can't punch up to the high ground. It will go down for his troubles. Boop slowly, surely grinding their way back into this fight. Kenny goes down, though, to Lila out of mech. This could be it. We could see Holy Jalapenos sneak their way back up onto the point here. A lot of damage has gone down, but at the end of the day, all the kills in the feed are red. Holy Jalapenos at 2, nearing the 3-tick mark, have almost done it. But Kenny back on the wrecking ball. Have held on for their lives, and you know what? They don't give a damn about the damage coming out their way. Alila again on the tank, and it is just recycled. Come to the point, die, but you take off time is the key thing here for the Chicane. Even is back, and yet no ultimates are being charged up. The second that Vet gets the Shatter down, it has got to be game over for Boop.
It does. I mean, Bethcon has been able to stay high energy and just sitting here on point the whole time, and it's so much damage that Boop isn't able to live through it. A great job stalling out there, but still 2 minutes and 49 seconds left for the Jalapenos because of how quick that first take was for them. So, I mean, a lot of teams are happy when you end up taking Hanamura in the first place, but still having that large of a time bank is really going to help the mindset here for the Jalapenos. They know here on this defense, they got a lot of time to work with. And even though that stall was great out of Boop, I think Jalapenos just had too much damage there at the end that Boop wasn't able to get those picks that they really needed. Bethcon really needed to go down for Boop to take that point back.
I mean, such a fun push. My second monitor even fell over, so
I heard that.
It's good. We keep going. It's good. This is why I've been largely pushing for the implementation of having 2 monitors on my end. I can have both in-game other streams, so I didn't have to stop. I just turned my.
No, that's a good thing. I mean, I think it was Sir Blake just punched the screen so hard for you that it knocked it over back onto your end. And I think Sir Blake heard you talking about how much you're loving these Tourbillon picks. You see, coming out here again on the defense for the Jalapenos too.
Yeah, it's got a lot of uses. You do love to see a little bit of Tourbillon here and there, but now I think one of the big things is they've lost that viability of the combo with Bethcon, right? You've got your Graviton Surgeon, Toe, you don't really have anything to work with it. Now you're trying to go up against this symmetry really well into the Tourbillon. It can shut it down by just teleporting past all those turret sight lines. Yes, Sir Blake wants to be up close, wants to fight a very brawly style, but if this TP can come out successfully, they could just get around that altogether. They TP actually to the side, which gives them a really interesting position on this point. It seems the Jalapenos were up and ready for it, but not ready for the damage from. Oh my god, the Junkrat! I didn't even get to talk about it. You may have cut out when you were. So it's Boop taking full advantage of it, swinging through 3 kills to his name, mines left and right, explosive with.
Wow. Waffle Man saying, okay, I'm not going to be on the far. I'm just going to pick the next hero instead. Coming out with the Junkrat, just massive for the side of Boop there. Going to have the tire pretty quickly into this fight here. You see Sir Blake now going over to the Ash, maybe trying to get a little bit of long-range poke here, considering Trippy Cow and Waffle Man definitely got to play a little bit odder comps here without it, but they still have that teleporter to get him straight into point.
Oh, they TP in, and Boop's resident demolition expert is at it again. Breaking out the mines on the Junkrat here, looking for more kills. But Sir Blake from the high ground, shot after shot, dome after dome, he's popping heads. And as Jalapenos do, he's finding plenty of damage.
Yeah, Blake there making a really good switch, getting a couple of big picks there. Those dynamites are so strong, especially when you know a team's going to be grouped up in one spot. Not a bad time to throw, but Waffle Man does have the tire now. Happy Bee getting really close to the window there on the side of Boop as well. But now Vet has a shatter. Really, all they're going to have to be working with here right off the bat. The ultimate advantage definitely swung a little bit more in the favor of the side of Boop. But if you're able to see Sir Blake get some more picks again here,
oh my god, look at this teleporter. Oh my god, they're straight to point. That's cheeky, but is it viable? The shatter says no. Alila put onto the ground now, a pin here. And a tire that doesn't find any value. Snipper actually boops it. How BM is that, ladies and gents? Boop still alive on point, but just getting torn apart by a Bob. Holy jalapenos. They see your cheeky play, and they raise you a very solid defense.
Yeah, Blake got that Bob ult in the perfect time and didn't end up giving up point at all. The ticks not getting far enough along. For the most part, even though they did use the tire of that fight, not much invested on the side of Boop. They have 4 ults up and ready for them. Chicane getting close again to that beat drop, but there will be a couple of ults ready on the side of the Jalapenos as well. You have Pog holding this high ground here, gonna have the high noon, especially the Boop's pushing through main here. Can get a lot of damage with that.
Oh god, we've talked about it once. We've talked about it 1,000 times. Never let the McCree do this. I promise you, this damage amped, it's gonna break the shield, and it does! Chicane down, Alila out of mech, and Boop are coming up strong right now, but not nearly as big as the set of ultimates the Holy Jalapenos are throwing out. Now it's Sir Blake's turn. A shooting gallery for this Western gal on the Ash, coming with a ton of damage by their side.
Yeah, and Boop invested a lot into that fight. Trippy Cow now going over to the Hanzo. They used the window. They tried to use the shatter out of Kenny. Layla having the bomb here, but Malalia does have the nano boost going to be online here for the Jalapenos. And Blake already back up to the Bob, and Bethcon having the Graviton Surge here. So it's going to be definitely swung back here into the favor of the Holy Jalapenos. And 3:35 here on the clock for them. Even if Boop take this fight, it's going to be at least a match time bank. But you got to think with the ultimate advantage here, the Jalapenos are going to be able to take another fight.
Yeah, and not to mention the Graviton Surge. Look for Layla to eat this. That is about their biggest way into this game. Shut down the Graviton Surge. You shut down this defensive ultimate bank. You can deal with the Bobby, you can deal with the Nano, but you cannot deal with the Graviton Surge. Layla coming out, using that defense matrix, but not finding anything. Holy Jalapenos just using that pressure to take them apart one by one. And Boop, they've just got to try again.
They do. Losing the Reinhardt really hurt them in that fight. Even though Vet went down pretty early, without Kenny there, there's so much damage from the side of Jalapenos there with that Bob being thrown out that they just couldn't push into it. And now they're going to have ults built back up for them. Boop, though, have built up their economy again. They might be able to open up here with the tire again from Waffle Man, or maybe use a Layla's bomb to try to push off the high ground here. But Bethcon's grab is still the difference maker here for the Jalapenos. That should be able to win them this fight.
Still in waiting, look for Layla to come up with the eat. That is the big play that could just end it for them. After that, they push it, and they've got Soundberry. They've got everything they need to cancel it, but they've let out Waffle Man again. Every time this hallway, main, anywhere they go, it seems death follows for Boop.
It is. They maybe need to think about a different way of pushing to keep pushing up top here, but there's so much damage with that dynamite from Sir Blake that maybe it's just not the best approach here for Boop. Maybe going to see them pushing in through main or trying to initiate. Use Waffle Man's tire to push in and try to force some abilities out of Jalapenos before you push in. Try to take this a little more proactively than reactively.
Well, Boop, they've got a nice set of ultimates to act proactively, like you mentioned. Looking for the right engagement now, and what ability will they use to do it is going to be the question. Still threatening that Graviton Surge, but the second the bomb comes out, it's Graviton City, baby! Jalapenos come up big, find 3 members for their troubles, and now with a very nice bank of ultimates still in tow, they're going to hold on to their point.
Yeah, a minute 30 left for them now. Malalia's anti-nade there at the end, picking up 2 big picks. And now Boop has to reset and come back around. They do have 4 ults built up. They used 2 during that fight. With Vet falling there at the end, going to be able to meet Boop again as they push. It looks like they're going to be pushing up through top right, through the mid. Maybe a little bit of split DPS. They're trying to take a bit of a crossfire. But now this is the time Boop has the ultimate advantage before they're able to build tank ultimates back up from Jalapenos. This has got to be the fight they win with only a minute left here.
No time, and we want to see them be proactive. Please, Boop, show us what you got. They come in, dropping the dragon, but the anti-nade is massive from Malalia, finding 3 members cleaned up by Pog now. And when that high ground belongs to the Western duo of Ash and McCree, there is no taking this point.
None at all. I mean, some of these ultimates for Boop they've been sitting on for a couple minutes now, and now with only 35 seconds going to be left for them, you see Trippy Cow going over to the McCree now. Maybe their way of trying to deal with how well Pog's been able to do on the McCree, but Pog switches over to the Torbjorn now. So now they have a turret they have to worry about set up on the other side of point. Boop definitely not going to be ready for that, and now with Bob pushing in too, the economy looks like it's in Boop's favor, but I still like the positioning that Jalapenos are going to have.
Jalapenos, they have high ground every single fight. The Bob shut him down, the Shadow shut him down. They've got even a sound barrier to do it. Kenny anti-nade, he can't follow up on his own ability. Now Waffle Man needs to find massive value with this tire. He needs to come up big, but can only find Malalia. Holy Jalapenos, kill after kill, time and time again. They hold on to their high ground, and they're gonna hold on to Hanamura.
Oh, just dominant performance for them, holding on for so long and still getting that really early first take. Their DPS really shining here on the second round for them. You saw Sir Blake doing such a great job there on that Ashe. That really seemed to be the difference maker here for Jalapenos to bounce back and even the series 1-1.
Now, again, we spoke about it before this game, and I'm not going to say we're prophets or anything, but Booth, we're pretty good at what we do. We saw that the ultimate economy, the second it went in the way of one team, it just spiraled out of control. And that time was Holy Jalapenos twice in a row on their push, and the one afterwards, they got the tiniest little bit of a grip on the ultimate economy and never let it go.
No, they didn't at all. They held on to it and took advantage of it. I mean, it's your words, not mine, that we're pretty good at this stuff. I didn't say that. I want everyone to make sure of that. Dor said that about myself.
Don't worry. Boot, you're killing it. Don't worry, dude. I'm telling you.
Trying our best, man. But Jalapenos also trying their best, really turning around on that map there. I think looked incredibly dominant, just rotating ultimates perfectly. Malalia really shining there on that Ana. Those anti-nades have been massive. Then we do have one more map is going to be left here before we end up going to a halftime. But before we get too much further, a couple of quick updates coming through here and our other games going on. First off, in the trend. Actually, we're gonna come back to those in a second, getting a couple of graphics set up for them in the time being. But map 3 will be coming up here in a second. We're gonna be going to a little bit of a quick break here. We're gonna be resetting our Discord call here, a couple of technical issues, so bear with us here for just a few seconds, guys.
All right.
Yeah, there we are, back here.
We're good. We got a call. We got to work, and hopefully I'm not lagging anymore. But if I'm lagging, Boop's spitting some fire on the mic. So either way, it's going to be a good time. Boop, now coming in, get a map pick, and it looks like they've taken us to Kings Row. We have seen all sorts of stuff coming out from these teams. We've seen a lot of Ryan Zarya, though, and honestly, if both of them were down to play Ryan Zarya, what a better map to take it to.
Yeah, exactly. Always my favorite map being a Zarya player. You saw Bethcon doing a really good job there for their team on the Zarya, but she's actually been subbed out for the side of Jalapenos. So they have Abe coming in now for them. So maybe going to be switching up who's playing that Zarya. I know Abe is a flex player for them. Maybe going to be picking up that off-tank role. But interesting to see what they're going to be doing with that.
You know what's an interesting fact, though? Is our producer Juke has just informed me, or rather, a non-biased outside source has told me that Mr. Trippy Cow learned a lot from Juke during his time on Instalock, in their professional opinion. That's why they're good now.
Yeah, that makes much more sense then. I was curious about it. I was thinking there had to be some ace in the hole there that Trippy Cow had, but now I get it.
It's right about this time in the broadcast where we really want to show a lot of appreciation to our producers, especially Juke, who's producing tonight. We thank you so much, and it's definitely not related to the previous statement.
Yeah, none at all. Not trying to get a little bit on better standing or anything. Just everyone go follow him on Twitter and stuff too. Before we get into Kings Row here, though, we are going to do our updates we were promising you guys for the games going on. First, in the Transcendence tier, with our game we have between Rebellion and Havoc. Big upset alert right now. We have Rebellion up 2-0 against Havoc.
No.
Yeah, I don't think anybody had that started off that. So we'll be definitely keeping up to date on that one. Then back down to the Discord tier, Habaneros have tied it up 1-1 here with Tough Luck, and the Hanamura Hellhounds are tied 1-1 with Caliber as well. No update yet from the Flashbacks Modify game, but Pogfish for a second chance at the moment is also tied 1-1. So a lot of really close games out there tonight for us so far.
Yeah, dude. These playoffs are proving better and better by the moment. And now with Holy Jalapenos and Boop continuing on, I think we may have gotten the best of the barrel again, dude. These games are so great. And I'm glad the fights haven't been particularly slow. Outside of when we saw Boop really struggle on their second point Hanamura push, it hasn't just been early round picks. Both these teams are playing very clinical Overwatch, very, very strong, especially on the ultimate front. They're playing very consciously, and they're making really good decisions because of that, and that makes for some amazing spectating.
It really does. And coming out to King's Row now seems to be like everybody's favorite scrim map here to be going on. And the Ultimate Economy is still going to be even bigger here, with a lot of the high ground not being able to be used here on the second point. It's going to be a lot more death ball-y. And the Ultimates being so strong for those heroes with these Ryan, Zarya, not being able to double stack up some of your tank ultimates, making sure you're spreading out your DPS correctly to make sure you get enough crossfire, and it's going to be even more important here, especially for both teams attacking back on the first point.
Yeah, being careful about the ultimate economy on King's Row, always a struggle, and it's something that I want to watch here for Boop, right? We talked about it being there on Control Point. In Control Point, you get 3 maps, so you get like 3 chances effectively at trying to take over that ultimate economy, because that's how this game seems to have been going. But when it came to Hanamura, when it came to one push after another and consistent wins and fights where the ultimate economy is relatively even, Boop seem to struggle. And so I'm interested to see how they fare on a map that is, again, going to be linear and not King of the Hill.
Yeah, exactly. And you see right now the defense pretty standard composition coming out from the side of Boop, Trippy Cow over on the Hanzo, Waffleman sticking over onto the McCree, but a little bit of interesting comp coming out over on the side of the Jalapeno. You see Abe taking that off tank position now, but Pog going to be on the Reaper with Sir Blake over on the Doomfist, so no real hit scan going to be coming in for them, but they're going to be looking to brawl real quickly.
Very, very brawly indeed here as they look to push down and just dish out damage left and right. Meanwhile, Boop buying as much time as they can, and the damage is enough. Trippy Cow, we've talked about him all night on the Hanzo. He's been insane. Those Storm Arrows so deadly, and Boop showing us why.
Yeah, exactly. Just so much damage available for them. Broke the shield of Vet pretty quickly. And now you see DPS swaps coming out from the Jalapeno. Sir Blake over onto the Widowmaker now. Pog over onto the McCree. And maybe going to be trying to deal with what they see Trippy Cow doing so well there on the Hanzo. Going to try to get a little bit of a duel here and give their tanks maybe a little more space to work with.
Yeah, Holy Jalapenos demanding respect with his Widowmaker, forcing those sightlines back, and Boop are giving it to him. A great anti-nade. Malalia could actually open this one up. They're stuck in the corner, holding and licking their wounds right now, but Boop finally recuperated, finally able to push back onto this point, just avoiding the Widowmaker shots. Bob and weave. They're screaming in the chat, Serpentine to avoid it, and you know what? They're dancing around. Ulela, though, eventually will go down. Finally, though, the threat's taken out, but 2 ticks for their troubles now. Holy Jalapenos nearing the end of the point. Boop has to come in, but they can't find an entrance. Take it off. It is muscled out of their hands. Holy Jalapenos take the point without winning the fight, but will even do that afterwards.
Oh, Vet just stepping up big there for the team, getting the big shatter, using the nano boost, getting off these spawns, and another lightning quick take here for the Jalapenos. My goodness, they've just completely turned a corner here on these takes. Holy cow, 5 minutes going to be for them here to push here into second point. Now, they're not going to have tons of ultimates. Abe, though, up to 89, 90% here for the Graviton Surge. Layla only at 65, so Snipper here having that beat. Going to be holding it in the back pocket, but so many ults going to be up on the line here for Boop.
I mean, Snipper's beat has to be perfect here. Booper coming in with so much. If you can counter 2 ultimates with that, it's huge. Sir Blake already taken out of the fight, but Mr. Trippy Cow, that's been the bane of the Jalapenos' existence, is now gone. They use the Graviton. They get aggressive with it. Sound barrier out from Boop. Deadeye. Not going to matter from Pog, but it will from Waffleman. Out on the flank. Taking out Malalia from nowhere. Now Holy Jalapeno stuck between a rock and a not so threatening McCree here as he's forced back. It's the engagement for them that's going to matter. Waffleman goes down to a surprise Genji from Sir Blake. Coming in, spawning just in time, and Holy Jalapenos' ultimates be damned continue on in this B point.
That's right. And now Vet's getting really close to having the shatter as well. And Alayla has to throw out the grab just to try to hold in. But there comes the grab.
Woo, boy! You know what? Classic combos here. Snipper can't even press Q in time before his health bar is depleted to 0. And they're going to stabilize just in time.
Wow, yeah, good job there. The Grab Dragon was it's a decent idea for Snipper not to use the beat there. You know, they were going to end up dying to that with all the damage they have. Now they have it to be aggressive going into this fight where there's shatters online for both Reinhardts. Not going to be too much available for either teams here. So that beat could really be the difference maker for the Jalapenos, giving them just a little bit more sustain to push in here and get that cart so close to being pushed into second point.
Oh, it's dead even here. Vet, though, lining up the shatter. We've seen both Kenny and Vet be big with it, but the flank, oh my god, are they going to do it? Vet pushing up is found out. Okay, this is good for Boop. They know what they're doing. They just need to avoid it. Both shields dropping dangerously low, but the shatter out of Vet! The first one, and he fires first! Will find a lot of value, but right on back, Kenny puts everybody into the ground. The follow-up damage is there, and Boop are going to take this fight after surviving a very harrowing glimpse at death.
Oh my goodness, these Reinhardt shatters have been just insane tonight. It's been so much fun to watch. Vet getting his maybe just a little bit too early. That immortality field from Happy Bee was huge there, and Kenny able to land that shatter at the end to clean up the side. Now Waffleman back with the high noon, getting really close to the nano blade though. That's going to be up and running on the side of Jalapeno. Snipper still hasn't used the beat yet, so they have that up in line, maybe to help sustain them again through this fight. But look at this interesting angle they're taking.
Huge pick from Trippy Counter Blake, no longer for the Nano Blade. Now Boop are going to push in, unafraid of those ultimates. The Dragon is well trying to split them right in half, although Trippy Cow actually manages to place a Dragon behind them somehow. It's kind of impressive, but they still have precedence over this fight. One man on the high ground is going to be there. Sound barrier is up for Chicane. Can buy so much time. A Boostio, no less here, flying across the screen is Holy Jalapenos, muscling their way back, slowly coming in. They've got time for a Genji, and they've got time for a Blade, but the sound barrier now to counter, only going to allow him to get one kill. Slices and dices through Trippy Cow, but will go down eventually here. Boop slowly losing precedence over this point, and it's time for Jalapenos to take over B.
Yeah, with their spawns coming back in too now, the Reinhardt going to be up here with Vet, has the Shatter. Abe also going to have the Graviton Surge here, so Boop just going to kind of push back, give him point, wait for the regroup. That's a good idea. Pog, though, going to throw out the high noon, maybe trying to put a bit more pressure on the Boop, but they've already rotated back, so just getting a little bit of a zoning ult here for them, guaranteeing them second point with only 240 left for them as well. Still a good amount of time with all the ultimates the Jalapenos have, but Boop have even more ultimates. Look at that economy, 4 ults, about to be another 5th here with this Grab Dragon for them. So interesting to see what the Jalapenos are going to do. Are they going to invest early in this fight, or are they just going to try to die to ultimates?
Oh my god, they took down Snipper! No sound barrier now! Now the ultimate advantage starts to matter so much more. Holy Jalapenos, they have to respect this, but Boop are just going to spiral this out of control and continue to roll that ultimate economy.
My goodness, Trippy Cow has had so many, and Waffleman have just done so well getting some of these opening picks in these fights. I mean, just you can't lose your Lucio in a fight like this. Really in any fight when you're running the Rein Zarya like this, because it's just you need that speed boost to get that Reinhardt around. But now giving them the ability, 5 ults up, Sir Blake getting close to that Dragon Blade, gonna have the nano boost waiting as well. So a lot of ultimates online. Is still interesting to see what are the Jalapenos gonna do about this.
Well, Grab Dragon's up, but so is the sound barrier from Snipper. They get Graviton themselves here. Holy Jalapenos managed to hold on to their Blade combo, but the Shatter as well. They're staggering the ultimates, and Boop have had nothing to say about it. Wolfman finally finished up the main tank here in Vet, but now it's time for Nano Blade. Sir Blake in, finds one, searching for a second. Can't find much of anything, though, here. Instead is Pog cleaning up on the McCree. Boop, now for a retest. They've got the ultimates to do it, but they haven't been particularly trigger happy. They haven't bought enough time, and now it's all about the stall. Well, they even research again. No, can't reach. Holy Jalapenos still won away the heist of the century as they complete King's Row.
Oh my goodness, they had all the ultimates online too. Oh, that is, oh goodness, Boop. They were so close to getting back to point. That was there. They had it. I can't even. Oh, that's unfortunate. That is so unfortunate if you're a Boop fan.
I mean, they just didn't use their ultimates. They just didn't press Q. They spent all that time getting the biggest ultimate advantage they could. Mr. Trippy Cow found so many early picks, building up fight after fight after fight. And I don't think once did we see them just pull the trigger. And that's kind of been the story this entire time. Holy Jalapenos have been so proactive, but Boop are just so overly patient with their ultimates.
Oh, they were. I mean, I liked what Jalapenos did there, initiating with a lot of their own. They invested a lot of it initially into that last fight, but I mean, it won them the point, gave them enough space. Boop just weren't able to recontest again, and now they have a minute 10. I mean, a minute 11 actually is going to be left for them. So even if they're able to push overtime here, then there won't be a recontest able for Boop. So really big, good job there from the Jalapenos. They needed to take that fight early and get enough bank left, and they've got it now. And now a little interesting composition. They do have the double shield opening up on the defense here, Abe, over onto the Sigma. You see Waffleman looks like going to be opening up onto that Pharah initially that they've done so well on Nepal earlier. So Pog's going to have a lot of work here on this McCree to be able to deal with this. Pocketed pharmacies, it's tough to deal with by yourself, but maybe Malalia over onto the Baptiste would be able to add a little bit more support there as well.
I like it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But now you're playing in a double shield, a little bit tricky here, a little bit different, honestly. And the one thing I'm looking out for is Mr. Tripicow to sneak in a kill while they're cowering away from these rockets. You see they have to retreat, and already these arrows are starting to connect. A lot of damage going through, but still Holy Jalapenos stand true on the point right now. Now stuffed in the hotel. Booper just buying time, but that's all they need to do when they have a far in the sky. Yes, they've lost Happy V. Yes, they just need to buy time, but they're still putting in damage. The Far still applying pressure, and it's not really over until it's over here for Boop as they look to re-engage. They've still got all that damage. A lot of it's going to start to be permanent. It's going to start to add up from Waffleman as the fight still hasn't happened yet.
It really hasn't. Abe's been doing such a good job of denying this Far tons of space so far.
Yeah, but now finally they've got that space, pushed them back into the choke point. Waffleman taking low, healed back up, playing a little bit of ground Far right now. But the damage from Holy Jalapenos is just somehow out chip damaging the Pharaoh, which is ridiculous.
Wow, yeah, it really has been. I mean, that's something you normally don't see. That's why you run these pharmacy comps. And now Sir Blake has the Molten Core ability up and running. They're going to have the Shatter as well, but the barrage over from Waffleman could be really big for them. It's really up to Abe to be able to block that here for the team.
Okay, now it's time again. Boop get to see what they can do. The Shatter! Vets ended the fight before it's begun for a time and time again. Barrage comes out, finds one. They can turn this into a fight win. Of course, they do have the ultimate advantage, but Happy B straight back into the Molten Core is going to put a stop right in their tracks.
It is the good res there for them. They're not going to have the Reinhardt for Vet available right away, but Abe with the shield again and going to have the Gravitic Flux. If they push into this, Abe's going to have this ultimate up and running for them very soon.
Need to be careful here. That Amp Matrix looks to dish out a lot of damage. Abe coming in. Shatter Block with both of the shields. Absolutely nothing here for Kenny. Now it's Gravitic Flux time. Pick him up, slam him down, and it's Kenny taken out here alongside Layla. That tank duo not long for life and still holding on strong. Holy Jalapenos. This point looks like a fortress by now.
Not even able to give up a tick yet either. Invested a lot in that fight, but you see Pog does have the ultimate up and running for that high noon as well. And Vet, you're going to be expecting a Shatter pretty quickly for them. Boop needs to take this one either pretty quickly in this fight. Only a minute 30 for them. Maybe invest Waffleman's Barrage, but it's again up to Abe to be able to mitigate all that damage coming in.
Oh, this is the best start we could have possibly seen for Boop. They take down Vet, and now this is free reign. Now we can see this Far go to town. Mr. Tripicow in the meantime on the Reaper. My goodness, why haven't we seen this earlier? He is going ham left and right. Those shotguns just enough damage to take over this point just in time.
Yeah, that was big for them. Didn't have to invest that barrage as well. But all the side of Jalapenos will able to get close spawned here. Boot pushing right up into them. But you see how well this Far does in denying space. Look where Boop has to, look where the Jalapenos have to push back as they wait for their two members actually to come back from spawn here. You have the Torb and Snipper coming on the Lucio to regroup with their team, but Boop gets to take all of the space now because of how much area this Fire can take from them. And they're going to be pushing back in with Shatters up on both sides.
Deadeye from Pog, a scary proposition, but everybody gets out just in time, though. They're split up. Sir Blake gets to put in so much damage on top of Kenny and Boop. Yeah, you just got to take this L and move on. 250 on the clock, though. It's getting a little bit dicey for him.
It is a little dicey. They didn't get payload really as far as you really want to have for your first push there on second. They're going to be able to push in quickly now that Kenny is back and have ultimates up. But look how close the Jalapenos are holding. They're denying so much space for them. This Far is going to have trouble. It's going to have trouble pushing in through here. This choke's so small.
Yeah, this choke point, the perfect place for them to hold up against the Pharaoh. Waffleman waiting for the right opportunity to get a barrage in, but they forgot a about the one other DPS on the team, Mr. Trippy Cow, coming in big, showing us why he matters not only on the Hanzo, but on the Reaper as well.
And now they still have this barrage from Waffle Man. It's going to be a little easier to get that off here when they push closer into second. A little bit more wide open for them. But Ultimate's going to be around each way here. Layla going to have that bomb to help with the contest here. But be looking out for Sir Blake having that Molten Core. It's so good at denying space. And Boop has to be careful for that. It can really clear up a lot of the ground they've already taken. And you see them pushing back. They have to know that Ultimate's coming and be able to respect it.
Well, they've got the ultimates they need. Alayla is in a perfect opportunity to shut down the Molten Core, but they just chuck in the bomb. It finds two! How on earth? A naked bomb comes up big! Even the remake kill onto Malalia? Okay, Boop had an ultimate advantage, but it seems like Alayla is going to be doing all the work.
Wow, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that Immortality Field was kind of sitting there. It looked like it fell first. Someone's gonna have to clip that so we can watch that back. I have no clue how they died to that bomb there. But you see Abe switching over. The ultimate's still in line here for Boop. They still have this barrage. They have the window again, as well as having the damage meter for Mercy. And that's not the pick you wanted to see for the Jalapenos.
No, they were shutting this far down so well earlier, but now Wolfman, poised in position, looks for the Boop into the pit, nearly living up to their team's name, but they do control the high ground regardless here. They're in such a good position to shut this down, even a ground barrage, but just to apply enough pressure to take down Vet. In fact, they don't even need it. Mr. Trippy Cow shotguns dish out enough damage to the shield to make it worthwhile. Now that they've given enough time, actually, over to Holy Jalapenos, they've built up a decent ultimate bank of their own. However, none of those are particularly impactful, right? We see the High Noon that can be walking out of the sightline. We see the same thing with the Implication Matrix. The Shatter could be big. It's been big before, but they need it to be massive. Did I use Shatter in conjunction with it? All the ultimates out from Jalapenos, but nobody's dying. Boop now get the push in. And finally, some value found here for Holy Jalapenos. A bit of a reprieve as Boop cower back towards their spawn.
Yeah, but still, if you're Boop, you didn't invest much. You used the Valkyrie there, but considering all the ultimates they're gonna have online, that was probably the least impactful they're gonna have. They're gonna have a whole 5 up and ready for here, as it's gonna be pretty close time-wise, minute 30, minute 11. So if you're the side of Jalapenos, and you know that Boop has all these ultimates up and running, it's going to be hard to be able to win this, but if they can push overtime, that would be insanely big for them. Abe, though, so close to this grab. If they can grab him before they push in, maybe they can get another fight win early on, but look for the eat.
Oh! The E, we talked about it on Hanamura. It matters just as much here. Both main tanks down, but now Boop have complete and utter control. Another Death Blossom here out of Mr. Trippy Cow. Doesn't find the same amount of value, but in the front, it doesn't matter. A bomb from Alayla. Again, another kill. Left and right. Boop just finding big play after big play.
Oh, that eat was so insane. You did see Blake didn't die, and oh my goodness, the dragon's actually massive. It ends up splitting card a little bit and gives enough time for some of the Jalapenos to push back in, and he gets the pick in the back.
Sir Blake's a goddamn one-man army right now. Melee from having be the only thing that can shut him down. Now Boop cauterized and shut down this push. Ended in the blink of an eye. The spawn advantage from Holy Jalapenos has to be enough for them to hold on. 30 seconds. Boop, they've got to be careful. They can back up, maybe wait for a re-engage here. The Amplification Matrix now for the re-engage. It is time. Pog, though, takes Waffleman out of the sky. More picks here for the side of Holy Jalapenos. The res comes out. Nothing is for certain in this fight right now, but Vet has a shatter. Drops it in and drops down everybody. Invulnerability field be damned. It allows Waffleman to come through with the barrage, with the damage, maybe even take over a map for Boop. The kill is coming through, but Sir Blake's still alive, still a threat right now, finally taken out. The card looks to progress towards the end of the map, and that it will. Boop hold on to their chances of winning this map, or at least pulling out a draw.
Yeah, pushing for the draw. They are pushing the overtime here. They shouldn't have another chance to attack because they had over the minute left. So Jalapenos, at least having a draw here, maybe even a win, going to be online for them here. It's all up to them. A minute 11 is not tons of time online for them, but it could be enough for how quick they've been able to take Hanamura and King's Row so far. You got to think that Jalapenos have something up their sleeve for this.
Whew. Jalapenos, they're coming in. This match has been close as all hell. Boop have come out with so many clutch plays, whether it be that invulnerability field, whether it be the Graviton Surge eat. How long can they keep this up, Booth? How many times is it going to take a single player coming up so big for them?
My goodness, I don't know. The DPS have seemed to be doing that for them here so far, and they're gonna have to do something a little bit cheesy here. It looks like you're gonna see Waffle Man over on the Junkrat, but Trippy Cow over on the Bastion. So hard to deal with Bastion compositions early on in these games. Oh, that's going to be really hard for them. Sir Blake is going to be opened up on the Junkrat. It looks like Pog over on the Hanzo. So a lot of burst damage available for them, and they're going to have to be able to eat through enough shield to take down this Reinhardt and get through a res. And man, it might be pretty tough for them here.
Yeah, when you're looking at a mercy-based hold, that's always the name of the game, right? Deny the res, at least. That gets rid of so much value that Boop are looking for. With 1 minute and 11 on the clock, Holy Jalapenos don't have time to build up that so much before. Sir Blake, though, on the Junkrat, a great shutdown to this Bastion as well as Pog. The damage is enough to take him out. The question is the execution here for Holy Jalapenos dancing around this statue right now with Mr. Trippy Cow. A threat, always Vet's already gone. He's starting to shred through the health bars, and this sentient being, dare I say it, living on the Bastion.
Yeah, it was an interesting hold there. I don't know if they saw the Bastion, they were expecting the Bastion just to be sitting on point there. And Vet just walked straight into so much damage. And now they're kind of split off here. They don't have their Reinhardt really with them. They're going to try to bubble through to let them set up a little bit closely. But if they can push in close, oh, watch out for Sir Blake up top too. Might be able to get a lot of damage
Blake's
in.
in such a good position right now. What a play by Layla. Pushes him out. He'll almost certainly get beamed down by this Bastion. And a hail of bullets starts to look scarier and scarier, but the rotate comes out on top. He desperately cowers back into Hotel, and it is a matter of time before Holy Jalapenos get in. They've evacuated the point, and Boop have pulled the old ring around the Rosie. There they are, the other side they go. And you know what? What a rotate, and it's gonna pay off in spades. Boop, hold on, damage is enough. Unless this Dragon's finding 6 kills, I think we're gonna see a draw, Booth.
I sure hope you have nothing to do tomorrow morning. This is going to be a late one, I can tell you already. Oh my goodness. The draw, I mean, Boop, it's so hard to break those Bastion competitions like that, but you got to give a lot of credit to the Jalapenos being able to push through at the end. Waffle Man getting the play of the game. Yeah, seems about right to me for how much work they've been able to do here with this Pharah.
I mean, everything about this game is ridiculous. You know, it is crazy. For my casting, it's something I've been practicing, right? Breathing exercises, making sure I'm able to go on through hype fights without losing it or without sounding strained or anything. Yeah, I've been practicing in games that were, like, not too crazy. And then this comes out. It just all goes up in the wind.
I mean, I'm happy you're at least practicing it, but you have to know, once we get this far here into the playoffs, you're not going to have any games like those. We're gonna be giving you the 7-8 map showers every time you end up signing up here with us.
Oh my goodness. It's been so close. We managed to keep the score here at 1-1 after a slugfest Kings Row. But we're going to have to wait just a little bit to find out what that next map is. I'm not sure if we have the updated scores for you guys on the other matches yet. I'm sure Booth will be able to inform me on that one. But as far as I know, for the next 10 minutes, we're going to be going to a quick little halftime. So at the very least, I can grab some water. But I know these players need a little bit of a mental reset. So we'll catch you guys on the opposite side of that. Keep your eyes on your screens and your butts in those seats. Overwatch Tranquility will be back shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a bit of a breather, but this match is still underway here. This slobber knocker between Boop and Holy Jalapenos still going down. As we head out of halftime, though, we've got a couple updates on the matches going around Tranquility today, as, you know, Wednesday's game day. Boot, you want to tell us a little bit about what's happening?
Sure thing. So, final score update coming out of the Transcendence tier. Definitely an upset in people's minds here. Rebellion winning 4-0 against Havoc. Congratulations there to Rebellion, giving Havoc their first loss of the season. Nothing to diminish what Rebellion did. I know Havoc is slightly less competitive of a team as they were before, maybe not screaming as often, but still, congratulations to Rebellion. Then we move it on to the next round. And then Discord tier updates, the Hanamura Hellhounds are now down 2-1 caliber up in the series. Tough luck in the Holy Habaneros is currently 2-1 in favor of the Habaneros. Modify in the flashbacks, giving us the same thing we have right now, 1-1, and then a tie on the Assault map. So both Harmony tier matches very close. And finally, out of the Transcendence tier, Pogfish 2-2 against Second Chance.
Some impressive scorelines there. It's nice to know another match is coming out as close as this one, but now that we've gotten to see two maps, right? We saw Boop take over for just a bit of a recap, right? We saw Boop take over on Control, two very impressive holds, but Jalapenos actually came in the middle of that and had a very impressive hold of their own, and that kind of has led us to recognize this ultimate economy standard that's been coming out. Whichever team manages to get a stranglehold tends to be able to hold on to it, and when it came to King's Row, Holy Jalapenos did it through the entire map, pushing with around a minute and some change on the clock. Boop followed up by doing their own impressive feat of just that. Hanamura as well between those two maps played out in favor of the Holy Jalapenos, and we've seen much of the same. Now, though, we're going to a bit of an interesting map as the score is tied up 1-1. That does mean that Boop got another map pick because of the draw, which means they got to pick Dorado.
Yeah, interesting pick for them. I think it gives them. I mean, if you're Boop and you're picking a map, you got to think, how do we enable Tropical on this Farah? Because it seems to be unanswerable from the Jalapenos so far. I mean, their double hit span's been doing pretty well, but I don't think it's been doing really near as much as they would want it to be so far to counter this.
Damn, Booth, you're really smart. You should get a doctorate or something.
Oh, stop it.
All right. Well, good luck on your way to that one. But you're exactly right? That's exactly what I want to talk about with this Dorado pick, the Farah. This map, I can tell you from personal experience, our beat 4K plus teams consistently, yet we played teams all across the board when we were playing in Open. Single win on Dorado in any of our series in Open Division because of Farahs. And I can promise you, if Mr. Tropical pops off and Holy Jalapenos don't have a damn good answer, going to be seeing a win either. So big things expect out of both Sir Blake, and they subbed out Pog, which is interesting. Who'd they sub him out for?
Looks like in for BethCon, it looks like. Not actually sure if Beth was even in on the last map. Might have been a little confusion for both teams here. But speaking of big things, a big thank you to our caster, Captain Jack, with 5 gifted subs here to the community. Thank you so much for support there, Jack. Hope everyone continues their subs here for the next for the next month here for us. We do have a little bit of a switch coming, actually. It looks like we might have had a little bit of lobby issues set up here with some of the initial hero bans. Looks like Echo was not enabled. So we'll be resetting here. Yeah, game. Hey, we're not hosting lobby this time. You can't blame Booth or blame Door or Juke. We're not hosting the lobby tonight.
To be fair, there'd probably be more issues if we hosted the lobby tonight.
Oh, there's so many more.
But we'll get to have a little bit more time to talk about this, right? So you spoke about the Faro, and we talked about how they're neither. What do you think that is here for Holy Jalapeno?
I don't know. I mean, I think the hit scan's going to be, still really big for them. They maybe want to start opening up with that double hit scan again. I mean, even if it's not, it's still a pretty viable DPS line for how well they've been playing. But, I don't know. That's just that when the FAR is doing that much work into your team, you got to think of something, right? And maybe not the worst place to try something like this out.
Yeah, and I feel like Boop are really, really going to be strong with these picks. They effectively got the dodge right after 2CP, which they lost heavy-handedly by Holy Jalapenos because of bad choice of where to push on the map up against a Ash McCree and a Ana. We saw them struggle there. And then there's another control point map in that is a hybrid map, right, in Kings that they struggled first point on, but barely managed to get through by the skin of their teeth. So what would have been a 2-map lead because of Holy Jalapenos' ability to play control points, then only turned into a 1 because they snuck away a draw. Now we can see Boop come alive on map types that they might be better at, because it seemed like when it came to S, they were incredible. In fact, in this small room, Abe's far is trying to put in damage, but really put it through.
That was Boop had such good positioning too to help stop Sir Blake here. Sir Blake is set up on the bastion. They were in the perfect place.
What is this? Sir Blake's on a bastion. There's a far up. Oh, in a room packed like sardines, but the damage is the only thing that matters, and vulnerability field doesn't matter at all. That comes through. A little bit of a drive-by here, and as the cart moves further, the bastion just gets a better view.
Oh, Boops had that played perfectly too. They were sitting right up close to stop this bastion from getting set up, but he walked straight onto cart. Oh goodness, unfortunate for Boop. Those almost big brain plays there. But now look at Abe. Already has the barrage. I mean, Happy Bee's gonna have the immortality. I mean, they're gonna have the window here into this next fight. But I mean, now the pirate ship's set up. It's so hard to break through it.
Really difficult. And what we didn't see them do there when they were inside the building was push forward, right? They didn't push out onto the bastion. That's going to be heading into this next fight. They need to make a move, but with the barrage in their face, Abe showing Trippy Cow and the opposing DPS that there is not the only far on the server.
No, not at all, but they weren't able to really stop point at all. So Sir Blake still able to put in a lot of damage. The barrage from Abe was just massive. Now they're going to have the tank configuration up and running. Boop wasn't able to invest the window from Happy Bee now, so they're going to have that waiting. Waffleman will have a tire available to help try to deal with this. No, the immortality field from Eulalia has got to be big to protect that bastion for this fight coming up. But look at this good positioning from Abe. I like them putting a lot of this pressure and trying to split the side of Boop up here a little bit, but it's still going to be so hard for them to push into this pirate ship.
They've got the cojones too. They back it up, and vulnerability field keeps him alive for the time being, and he's putting in the damage to back it up here. Sir Blake still alive on this bastion after a beautiful dive here from Boop. The speed boost hammered, all of it added up, and it still couldn't put a stop to Holy Jalapenos' reign of terror.
No, it couldn't, and they didn't really have to invest anything in that fight either. So they have so many ultimates sitting there waiting for them in this side. I mean, look what they have. They already have the Flux. They have the Shatter. They still have the tank configuration. This tire from Waffleman's got to be huge, though.
Yeah, it could be. Wolfman looking to shut it down, waiting his time, baiting, channeling PDK, kid in his every vein, and he finds one. Shatter from the other side, though, is massive. That has done it again! Oh, wait a minute! We've turned it around! Kitty is back in the game, back online, finding massive shadows left and right, but Abe has a barrage. Defense Matrix is only going to stop so much. That's still in the sky, still a menace right now. As bomb comes up and over, there's almost no dodging that if you're Far Mercy. Taking
nice.
2 out of the equation, Boop, we're going to hold on to the end of B.
Yeah, Layla really doing a great job there, and they also stunned Sir Blake out of that tank configuration. Alt there died while configuring, so Boop now going to be able to take this high ground advantage a little bit up. Sir Blake switching over to the McCree now to help deal with this. They still do have the lift here from BethCon. Unfortunately, going to have a little bit of a pause here. Looks like somebody might have had a disconnect going on, but looking at the economies here, 3 minutes left to try to push into second for the Holy Jalapenos. The lift going to be up for them. Not much else to counter it with so far. I mean, they do have the Lucio beat on the side of Boop, and the High Noon from Trippy Cow looks pretty good, but I don't know if it's really going to be enough to get through this if Beth can get a big lift up.
All right, I'm calling it. They pick up, sound barrier comes out, Deadeye is given to Trippy Cow. I'm feeling a slip up here, and they're just gonna pick it up and do the Higher Noon, but for the other McCree, and then Trippy Cow's coming up with like 5. That's my call.
Oh goodness, that's like back when they had the those experimental game modes in where there was no gravity McCrees. Just getting those vibes out.
It's a real scary proposition, but right now, Booper staring in the face of one that is just as scary here as the push comes in from Holy Jalapenos. Bestcon waiting for the right moment to drop in the Gravitic Flux, and that is now picks up 3. Sound Barrier to counter. No Deadeye, though, is my prediction. Falls false. The push from Holy Jalapenos found successful as a great Gravitic Flux from Bestcon is going to be the bane of Boop's existence.
Was that a 5K out of Abe? Did I count that right? My goodness, got the pick on the got the pick over on the Trippy Cow on the high ground, and looking to get him again, pushing right forward, and then just cleaning up in that fight. Abe showing up on the far here on Dorado so far.
Well, it's been a big Pharah play so far, but right now, the Ultimate's more even than I think we've seen them in a long time. They stayed even throughout a majority of the map here, so it's a matter of first pick. It's a matter of proactivity, and Holy Jalapenos has showed us that in spades here. They're going to look to push forward and wait for the perfect opportunity to drop in this barrage or the shatter. Either of them could just end Boop's career here and now. They need to be careful. Shatter, though, from the side of Boop, and they come up big. Deadeye to follow up, finds 2, takes down the flies out of the sky, and it's going to be a stabilization opportunity for the blue side.
It is Trippy Cow cleaning up there, but good job from the Jalapenos not investing anything into that fight. 5 ults up, 78 here to the Gravitic Flux over for Bestcon on that Sigma. And Boop gonna have a couple ultimates of their own, but that's nowhere near enough to stop the economy they're gonna have. But actually, you see Bestcon going over to the Diva, actually, maybe trying to eat some of those dynamites from Waffleman or help with some of the poke damage that comes through with this double hit scan composition. But I mean, if you're the side of Jalapenos, this is the fight to win this on. I mean, this is such a big advantage for them going to be pushing in here.
I mean, for Boop, it's pucker, squeeze, and pray that Chicane can get off the world's biggest sound barrier. And that's about the biggest game plan that I can think of for him, because they are staring in the face of so much. And if Vet even finds that one shatter that they've been finding every single map somehow, I suspect this could be the end of the map for him.
Yeah, it is. Going to another pause here. Looks like still some more technical issues seems to be happening across a couple of it's across for some people tonight. I know you've noticed some Discord issues we've had tonight as well. Both teams questioning what's actually happening. Not sure if anybody is DC'd or just if the lobbies are getting messed up. But maybe giving Boop a little bit more time to think about what they have to do to this because this is the side of Jalapeno is going to be pushing right into him with tons of ultimates online.
And it's weird because not many of these are combo ultimates so much as just you have 6 threats that could just end this fight at any point in time, and if you're not ready for them, they will kill you. But assuming Boop know what they're running into, they could feasibly survive this. Layla can't get up to block the Deadeye in time though. Ant Matrix out, Kenny's holding in front of it, Abe's on behind. Wolfman does manage to trade at least that much out. 1 kill is a good start here for Boop. They need to come out of spawn in time as the rest is going to make it just 6 members. And you know what, I'm trying to put a positive spin on this, but it seems like the end of days right now as Holy Jalapenos continue to progress this card. Trippy Cow managed to get a little bit of a touch in, but that is almost definitely it ending the map with almost 2 minutes on the clock.
2 minutes and Boop almost getting the 2 stall outs with the bomb and the Bob almost available for them, but not available to stall on cart. And I mean, I think the game, these last couple maps have been defined, but just quick takes here from the Jalapenos. 2 minutes on Dorado is like lightning fast time. I mean, these are always feel like they're overtime games on these escort maps, especially on Dorado. You see so much teams just kind of losing time on that first point. But considering how fast their pirate ship was able to push through for them, a lot of time bank left for them. They're able to lose a few fights and still have this advantage. But now they're going to be looking to try to do it here on the defense. It's going to be interesting to see what we see Boop opening up with here. I think the FAR has been working well for them tonight. No reason to switch off of that. Yeah, they have that right here initially. You see Kenny over on the Wrecking Ball, actually, maybe trying to get a little quick boop to knock the Jalapenos off of the high ground, which is always a pretty good strat here on this map.
Yeah, and it's really all about getting Wolfman, and Trippy Cow is kind of a, how would you say this, right? It's a fake target. It's the red herring. It's not going to be the real problem. The Bastion's something that just has this gravitic field towards it, and then Waffleman gets a ton of value off of that. And having 2 threats like that is exactly why we saw a successful push from Holy Jalapenos. But I kind of want to get into that one later. You'll have to remind me. But same composition run from Boop. Goodness gracious.
It's too close. I'm sorry.
It really is. You're messing with me right now.
I'm
Nonetheless,
so
though, the Bastion's up, and a different close hold from Holy Jalapenos. One I like significantly more here. Denies the sidelines. Wolfman's gonna really struggle to get in on Sir Blake, being able to hold his ground. And now they can start to push. Now the Bastion's taken out. They can shove Boot back into their spawn, and Holy Jalapenos can systematically go about shutting down this pirate ship.
Yeah, so now Boop has to make a decision. Are they going to try to push this again, which it looks like they are. Trippy Cal still trying to get set up, but Jalapeno is still holding in really good grounds here to be able to deny it.
Yeah, this corner is so powerful, and you can already see why it's so much better than holding inside of that room. I think the Bastion competition really caught Boop off guard here. Now, though, they're coming through. They finally got a little bit of presence over the point. Trippy Cal needs to make his way around the cart, though. Needs to get himself on some sort of sightline if he wants to fight here, because this neutral game is just so difficult for them to play. Finally sets himself up. The Reinhardt's actually split away. Kenny can look to take advantage of this and push down Vet, but Vet actually makes their way all the way around back to their team and will survive. So much time taken off the clock here. Just about a minute now. Waffle Man has his barrage, but it doesn't matter because the shatter from Vet putting everybody on the ground. It doesn't even matter if you get kills because Holy Jalapenos are just holding their own.
They are. That's a Valve coming out. That's pretty late for them. They do have some ultimates on the side of Boop to deal with this, but I mean, a minute and a half on the clock already. Jalapenos have to love with this so far.
Deadeye's up here. Sir Blake's found one more Waffleman. This might not even be over. Trippy Cal pushing in with the transformation tanker configuration tank, and now they can't even hold onto the cart that they thought was rightfully theirs. A nice set of ultimates out of Holy Jalapenos, and it's all over.
My goodness, Bethcon cleaning up there on the Sigma, and 2 minutes off already. This is disgusting hold on Dorado. You never see teams getting held this often. Now Trippy Cal, Boop taking a little bit of a switch here, going over to that McCree now, but they do have the window and they have the barrage online. Abe getting close to that Death Blossom, but with Cart pushing up now, it's a good idea here. I like what Jalapenos are doing, allowing space to push back a bit. Now they don't have to worry about the Bastion coming in.
Yeah, it's a good choice for sure here, taking their space, biding their time, and honestly, the time continues to go down off the clock here. Boop need to choose the right opportunity to engage, but with Waffleman in the skies, it's all about buying time for the Pharah as well, but time is the one thing that Boop absolutely does not have, but Abe is going to give it to him, the one pick they needed, and now they can look to get aggressive here. They've got a healthy bank of ultimates set up for themselves, and Billy Fields already gone out, and Boop are coming up big. Shatter, barrage, everything laid on thick. A readily won fight here for Boop, but a lot of ultimates at the cost.
Yeah, it was. You might maybe see like a little bit too much invested. I mean, Jalapenos, I think, already basically won that point, in my opinion. They took 3 minutes off the clock initially into that fight. We do see a pause being called again now. Jalapenos, though, I think they played that well. They didn't invest anything into that last fight. They're going to have 5 ults coming in the second point. And Vet, the only one not really close to the ult yet for them. Boop having to invest so much. It's going to be really tough for them to end up pushing through here. With such little time going to be added to their bank on the second point here. Regardless if Boop's able to push through, it's going to be looking like it could be close to just an overtime take for them.
Real quick, so sorry to anybody who had to listen to that real quick. My microphone fell down as we're using a not so standard microphone. It's getting the job done. It's a shame though, because this match has had to be paused a few times, and honestly, it's a little bit unfortunate, but it gives the teams a lot of time to think on the bright side, and I think that leads to a little bit of interesting Overwatch. So given that you have time to look at your ultimate bank and the opponents effectively if you're tracking well, Holy Jalapenos clearly have an advantage. How can they look to snowball that, and how do you think they're going to look to snowball that considering that they've done so consistently?
I mean, maybe you're going to think about opening up with Abe here with this Death Blossom, or maybe using Malalia's window here with like a Fire Strike from Vet to try to build up the Earth Shatter quickly here. The big one for me is just not stacking everything together. I mean, Bethcon's ultimate will be so strong in the first place. Might be good time to pair that here with Abe's Death Blossom and maybe saving Sir Blake's ultimate for any time they can catch this pharmacy still out that's going to be flying through the skies. Looks like they're all going to be able to be respawned for the most part pretty closely here. Vet does have a little bit of a trip to come back here with the team, so the pharmacy is going to be set up. You see Alayla already on this high ground on the Diva, denying a little bit of space for the team, but with all these ultimates, Jalapenos are okay with holding here.
Yeah, the scary part of this equation though is there's no support ultimate to shut this down, but I'll tell you what will. Abe going down on the Reaper. I mean, if you don't want to play against the Death Blossom, I guess you just shut down the Reaper in the first place. Now there's a little bit more space for Boop to just take care of.
It is, and now you see they're being able to push this cart around the corner. I think still there's such a time difference so far. The Jalapenos are okay with holding back here a little bit and waiting for the cart to get set up so they can fight under bridge and have a little bit of a better positioning here.
Ant Matrix versus High Noon. We're going to find out which one wins. Right now, it's going to be the Ant Matrix because it keeps them alive enough. That with another shatter. How?
My goodness. These Reinhardts tonight have just been insane with these Earth Shatters. My God. Ugh.
It's starting to feel like one of them, though, is just like they're all insane, but Vet has just come up every single time.
Yeah, they've been perfect. I can't even. That's crazy. I mean, big for them. They used 2 ultimates in that fight. 2 of what you would consider probably more of the fast charging ultimates. Malalia using the window, definitely a little bit quicker charging, especially with a lot of damage going to be coming out from Boop. With 2 minutes left for them here, they have both of their support ultimates. Now Waffleman back with the barrage, but Sir Blake could stop this pharmacy right
Oh, back one! Finds one invulnerability field, not able to do it, but I'll tell you what, Will, it's going to be the invulnerability field keeping his team alive. Now pushing through, though, Holy Jalapenos are gonna manage to take over this card control.
Yeah, good job. That lift was able to stop the res from coming in. Now Abe switching over to the Soldier off of the Reaper, going with the double hit scan. Maybe trying to take a little bit of high ground here with that Soldier. Try to deny a bit of space, apply a bit more pressure to this Pharah. Now, Boop didn't invest anything at least. Still a minute 25 for them, so not tons of time to work with, but it's going to be a lot more pressure now onto Waffleman, having to deal with 2 hit scans.
Yeah, Waffleman now has to worry about so much, but still the man for the job. The barrage in tow, all of the weight on their back. You're playing a Pharah composition. There's no option but to get value out of the Pharah, and you can't when Sir Blake's taking him down in 3 shots like that. Res is going to come out from Chicane, but the push is already here from Holy Jalapenos. It's not going to matter. The damage is there. The barrage isn't going to connect, and now we see Boop set right back to spawn again.
It is. They tried to get the barrage out there from Waffleman, but there was enough shields left from the side of Vet to deal with it. And now 45 seconds left. Time, the clock just ticking down. Now with Alayla getting de-mech'd as well. That's going to delay this push from Boop even longer. The stagger coming through onto that. And now look at the ultimates on the side of the Jalapenos. They still have that High Noon, the window, back with the Shatter and the beat drop. It's going to be hard for them. And I see Waffleman actually switch it over to the Soldier, deciding they're not going to try to play this far into this double hit scan anymore. It seems like that's the ticket so far to deal with this, but Alt's going to be on the side of Boop as well. They're maybe looking, they're going to be trying to take the high ground here. Interesting position. Okay, no, actually, just going to be pushing up here to point, but Sir Blake's going to be sitting up top with this Deadeye.
Oh boy, this is a scary proposition here as the Soldier pushes through. The Helix Rockets will connect for Sir Blake. Back off in the Deadeye, now at least semi-dealt with here. They have the corner to hide behind Kenny. The Shatter doesn't connect. Stoic stands Vet right now in front of his entire team, holding that shield up. And you know what? He'll be damned if it goes down. And without the Shatter coming out, another one connects. Abe follows up with the visor. And it's all done but the crying here for Boop as they get held out on Dorado.
It is. Oh my goodness. Jalapenos really turning around there, and such a strong defense. They took so much time off the first on that first point there, and then so dominant, not even letting the cart get underneath bridge there onto second. A rare second point hold there on Dorado, and now Jalapenos up 2-1 here in the series.
Whew, all right. Holy Jalapenos. I feel like they're starting to solidify them, right? They took a lead of types, right, in map 3 when the draw came out, but they had a very commanding push. It feels like Boop haven't been able to capture that same essence, haven't been able to control the ultimate economy in quite the same way, and I feel like most of that comes down to just discipline, right? Holy Jalapenos have the same amount of control over the economy, but they're not being as efficient with their ultimate, or they're being more efficient with their ultimates. They're using them better. They're being patient. They're taking pushes from Boop and then countering them effectively. And I feel like as good as Boop has been clutch player-wise, and I feel like as good as Boop has been ultimate economy-wise, it's really hard to outdo those team play fundamentals that Holy Jalapenos seem to be thriving on right now.
Yeah, their coordination's great. I mean, they're using their ultimates more efficiently. That really was the difference maker why Boop won that original map. We saw just how much better they were rotating their ults, but it seems like Jalapenos have kind of taken that up for themselves now. And now they're going to be going back to control on our 5th map here. Maybe that's the time Boop can kind of slide back in here and even the series 2-2. They seem to be a bit more dominant on that control map, which control points seem to be, I don't want to say like a little more scrappy, but just a little bit more there's a little bit more brawly, where you don't really have a defense to get set up as consistently with high grounds as you see on some of these other points. And if Jalapenos are able to roll through and take quick fights like they did on Assault and our Hybrid and Escort maps, I mean, it's just time ticked off the clock, then Boop can just come right back in and set back up and not end up losing some of those big points. So maybe it's going to be a good time here for Boop. But before we get into the map, we're going to be doing updates here for our other games still in progress. Our first one going over to the Discord tier with the Holy Habaneros versus Tough Luck. Right now, Habaneros up 3-1. Over then, Caliber takes a 3-1 lead against the Hanamura Hellhounds, stepping down to the Harmony tier. At the moment, Flashbacks are up 2-1 against Modify. And then Pogfish actually down 2-3 here against Second Chance. And right as we read through the updates here, actually a final score ends up coming through here out of the Discord tier. Holy Habaneros end up taking the 4-1 victory over Tough Luck.
Boy, man, lots of really great games being played tonight are still going on. I want to see some adaptation out of Boop, but honestly, if you saw adaptation, what do you think it is? Because I feel like they've adapted for the worse. We haven't seen Trippy Cow on the Hanzo as much. And honestly, I think it was their biggest difference maker on a lot of the other maps.
Yeah, it has been. Busan should let them open up with that here a little bit. I mean, there's that high ground on downtown that's really nice, but I always feel like Hanzo's a pretty good pick here on this map with like that mix between the short range and the long range fights that end up going on. So this right here could be the map for Boop to turn things around on.
It could. Having those open skylines can be so key, but the question is, does he lock it in, right? Does Boop say, okay, our problem's with our composition, or does Boop say our problem is with our coordination? If you had to pick one of those, what do you think it'd be?
That's a tough one. To be honest, I think really it's just that it's their coordination. I feel like the Jalapenos are just handling things a little better, and it feels like Boop's playing slightly reactive. Instead of being proactive and opening up some of the fights on their own. And when they do, it just seems like Jalapenos have the answer lined up for it. A couple times you saw barrages coming through and maybe getting 1 or 2 picks, but with the res being available a lot of the time for the Jalapenos with running that Mercy, they're able to kind of mitigate some of the ultimates that Boop end up applying to those. They end up stacking some things together, like a window with a high noon or with a barrage, and only getting a pick or 2 off of it. And that res just evens the fight right back up again. So these Mercy picks have been really big on the side of the Jalapenos tonight. Although Boop's been running it too, I feel like you just seen a little bit more value on the Resurrect coming out on the other way.
Okay, the Mercy pick's been big. I have a really big question now, though. Pog just subbed in for Snipper. They took out a support and put in someone who was playing DPS. What do you think is going to change about this Jalapenos lineup? And do you think it's even going to work for them?
So in the history, BethCon definitely plays off support sometimes for them. So maybe you're going to see Abe going back over to the Zarya again, which they saw some success on over on Kings Row. Even though they had the draw, they still seem like the dominant team. But actually, as I'm saying that, BethCon opening up on the Zarya and Abe over on the support. So we've seen Abe on all 3 roles tonight so far, really living up to the flex listed on their roster there for them. They're going with that Doomfist Reaper composition. We've seen them run a little bit tonight, but Trippy Cow over on the Junkrat actually. And with no Diva to deal with this, that could really be the difference maker over on the side of Boop as they're pushing in. Waffleman sticking on that McCree right now, so they have a good mixture here of some long-range poke with that McCree and then that high burst damage they have with the Junkrat.
Yeah, really a lot of damage going to be thrown the way of Vet, but they need to be careful of that Fist, of course. And honestly, I love keeping BethCon in here on the Zarya, one of her best heroes, and has repeatedly shown up on it time and time again. Now the damage starts to come out and add up. Trippy Cow applying the pressure, but Kenny the first to go down. Pog and Sir Blake just make Reinhardt's life a living hell here as they push Boop back into spawn.
Yeah, lots of scrappy fights here going on so far. Layla been able to pick up a few picks of her own on the Zarya, but the Holy Jalapeno should be able to take point here. As Boop's trying to contest pretty early, looks like they are going to back off and wait for these spawns to come in. Without their damage, it's going to be hard to deal with the Doomfist of Sir Blake, who's already pushing up and taking some of the ground there for them. But now they're going to push back in. Jalapeno is just going to hold on to point here, try to give them a little bit of space and let Sir Blake get a pick and open up this fight.
Yeah, and honestly, relying on Sir Blake is not a bad option. The Doomfist has been more disruptive than damaging from what we've seen, though, and honestly, that's pretty good, but not good enough to deny the high ground here. Right now, Waffle Man and Mr. Tripicow just have a firing range, and every single time the Holy Jalapenos give that up, the second that Doomfist can't reach them, that's when I see Holy Jalapenos struggling on this map.
Yeah, the shield break's so big running that Junkrat and McCree. There's not really the Diva to eat some of that damage coming in onto the Rhino. So that shield's just breaking early in these fights. They're trying to play these pick compositions with the Doomfist, but the picks aren't coming through early enough for them. And now, really good positioning if you're Boop to have this choke to push through.
Uh-oh! Tire into the Graviton. Guaranteed fight win effectively here for Boop. The Fire Strike might have been able to find it, but, you know. It's semantics at that point. A solid use of ultimates and a good fight win.
Very good fight win. They're gonna have 4 ults left for them here as well, just using 2 in that fight. Space Jam coming up really close here for the side of the Jalapenos. A well-timed beat from Chicane on the side of Boop could mitigate that here for them. They'll be looking for the Shatter from Kenny. Both Reinhardts could be looking to see who gets the best one off.
Shatters out from both sides, but there's a Deadeye. Waffleman, he's sitting on the high ground, completely uncontested. It's only him, but they don't see him there. You know, legend has it, if you Deadeye and stand perfectly still, they won't ever fire a shot at you. Now down on the point, Boop using that man advantage to their advantage as they still have control at this point.
Waffleman's mastered the art of standing so still that the human eye cannot detect where he is standing. But 4 ults being used now across these last 2 fights for Boop. They still have both of their support ultimates to try to deal with the ultimate parade that's going to be coming in from the Jalapenos. 5 ults already opening up with the rally, though, to initiate this fight.
I mean, Chicane could be big, actually. If he shuts this down with a well-timed sound barrier, here it is. No, it's just a little bit too late. It doesn't save Kenny. Oh, it could have been perfect. But without the main tank now, they're down to fall. Boop going to be giving over this point, notably using that sound barrier in the process.
They did use the sound barrier, but they're already getting close back up to these big ultimates again. Alayla 75% on the grab again, and you gotta assume Tripicow is gonna be getting that pretty quickly with how fast they've been charging up these tires, with really only the sound barrier gonna be around for these next 2 fights here for the Jalapenos.
Yeah, Jalapenos right now have a grip over this point, and honestly, I could see them spiraling this ultimate control. They win this fight right now with just the sheer amount of damage that Sir Blake and Pog are putting in. It could turn around for Boop.
Yeah, it is. It was a good job there from Sir Blake. Hard to push through in this top left here. So much close quarters. That's what the Reaper and the Doomfist want to fight in. Easy punches for Sir Blake. And that Reinhardt, you saw how much damage is happening. But now Boop taking a different approach, approaching underneath point here. I think that's the right move for them.
The Graviton off the point, they actually take it over in the meantime. The tire in, the Deadeye from Waffle Man. What on earth is going on? The bamboozle comes out from Boop. Abracadabra, now you see it. Now the point is ours.
Now the point and the first round here on control for Busan going over. And good job there from the DPS coming in clutch. But that grab from Alayla was massive, catching basically all of the members of the Holy Jalapenos there.
That was simultaneously the most ridiculous and coolest play I've ever seen. And that shows you how smart these teams are. You don't get this far, especially in Harmony tier, without finding some degree of coordination within your team. You may not be there mechanically, maybe there's a couple of slip-ups, but the biggest way that Harmony tier teams can improve over such a short period of time is by working on that team play, is by working on their coordination. And that just shows how high these teams have gotten in that regard.
It has, and now we see Echo coming out for the first time tonight, along with Widowmaker over on Sir Blake. Definitely a good counter here to help fight this Echo Mercy combo. And Abe over on the Zenyatta as well, a good Discord orb onto the Echo should make it a pretty easy cleanup there for Blake.
They're Blake on the high ground searching for a shot, but Boop are just going to cower in Where's the point here? Avoid the sightlines as the name of the game. Dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge. I hope they remember their 5Ds to dodge in a Widow here, because there is so much damage being thrown their way. Dive out from the damage just isn't there. The follow-up from the focusing beam isn't enough. And Holy Jalapenos, with that brawl composition they seem to love, are going to be taking this point.
Yeah, no one falling down there. This double sniper composition coming out really well for the Jalapenos so far. This crossfire they're able to put in with Pog and Sir Blake has been pretty large. And now you see Doomfist on the side of Boop, Waffleman switching over to it, maybe trying to deal with this Widowmaker or the Hanzo. And the stall on a Layla is just nasty. Actually, the baby Diva's fighting it out. Bethcon getting the better of it. Gonna get remeked here, and Boop has to just sit back and wait for it. It's gonna be hard to push in without having a Layla in the mech. And now as they're pushing in, Ultimate's going to be up here. Bethcon remeching as soon as this fight starts, and Sir Blake going to be getting pretty close here to the visor for the Widowmaker sights. And now Boop taking the coast approach here, going to be looking to see no Lucio to boop him off of point, but I do like their approach here so far, trying to mitigate some of the sight lines that the double snipers have.
Dive up onto the double sniper, can't land. He didn't jump far enough, not to mention he died midair. Boop coming in, they managed to trade out at least one kill here. Waffleman coming up big on the Doomfist right now. Dragon out from Pog, could look to split the point up here. Buys Holy Jalapenos a little bit of time, and maybe even a couple of kills here, but a great anti-nade is gonna put this one over for Boop.
Good job there to Boof. Oh, Bethcon throwing out the bomb, maybe trying to stall out point a little bit here. It does get the remake up, so gonna have a few more seconds to let the clock tick up here, get it to about 70% or so. But oh, Jalapenos are trying to get in. They're still holding on the front. They're still able to keep contesting.
Whether or not they get it, this is so much percentage for Holy Jalapenos, you can't help but think it was worth it.
Yeah, it really is. 76 for them. That's basically winning one fight. That'll give Boop one more chance to really push in. So one fight territory for them. And they didn't really invest anything besides the Diva Bomb, which considering how divey and like spread out the side of Boop is, probably weren't going to be looking for many 6-man bombs. Not trying to speak about the Beth Bomb. The Beth Bomb has come in clutch very much for this team so far. But out of all the ultimates for them to use a stall out, I think that's definitely the right choice for them.
Now one chucked over from Alayla trying to match the Beth Bomb, but a Transcendence forced out here for Holy Jalapenos to get one kill for the troubles. A solo shattered down on the Waffleman. And honestly, I love that to just get the fight win, take the point back over here at 76. Here. Oh, the Shatter though! There's one more person in the running for biggest Shatter. Trippy Cow comes in on the duplicate and ends this one right in a second! Oh my god!
It's just so insane to see how fast this builds. I mean, I think it's hilarious to watch, but that's just so frustrating. If you're a Reinhardt like Vet, you're trying your best to block shatters from other Reinhardts. At least he didn't have two of them trying to get him at once. But with shatters coming so quickly, it's just so you're not in tune. After you block that first shatter, you're like, look at me. I don't need to worry about anything happening. I've done my job for the next like 45 seconds. But you gotta sit there and try to deal with it again. Oh, so frustrated as a tank player.
Well, you gotta be careful. They're not running into much. The mines from Kinney could look to shut it down, but Sir Blake has the Deadeye. It's historically been huge. It's up on the high ground, and everybody's in his sights right now. Defense Matrix. Only Alayla will go down, but now the mine's on the point here. Looking to shut him down well, and that it will. Taking Abe out of the fight here. Kinney diving through. If he finds the Baptiste, it'd be huge. Kinney put the damage, and yes! Now the point beginning to take over the way of Holy Jalapenos. Res denied here by the two remaining players, but as the spawns come in, this actually could sort of go the way of Boop, but the point takes over and Holy Jalapenos managed to hold on.
Yeah, it's going to be one fight territory for both teams here. Not really tons of ultimates online. It looks like Boop's going to have a slight advantage with Waffleman and the Layla getting close to theirs here along with the Valkyrie, but a Beth Bomb could be big now in this last point stall. I mean, looking for that shatter out of Vet as well.
It's tricky going into the confined space. Finding that bomb is going to be so difficult. In fact, it might be even more useful for the stall. Pog already takes out Kinney though. Earlier on into the fight, the Beth Bomb. You know what? I should have never said a damn thing, Booth. You're always right. 2 kills traded back though. Layla finds one that's actually equally sized, but a little bit too late. As the point takes over, and Holy Jalapenos take us to a map 3 on our map 4. Is that right?
Map 5. It's 2-1. So I mean, because one of those maps didn't matter, but yeah, it's close.
Is map 3 on a map 5?
Yeah, something like map 3 on a map 5 and a
the same.
And a first to 4 and a possible 8. we're crunching numbers like crazy. But Pog on that Reaper put so much damage into Kenny on that Reinhardt that there was no shield left. And the shatter in from Vet just put all of them on the ground, set him up for Beth to throw in the bomb and get the massive, massive job for the Jalapenos to clean up. And now Sir Blake going to be coming out on that Torbjorn. You see Beth back over onto the Zarya now, running a little bit more brawly, actually switching back and forth now. And now we see the Symmetra actually. So they're going to be getting to the point a little bit quicker here on the side of the Jalapenos. And now you see the Echo, Mr. Tripical sticking on it. Not tons of hit scan is going to be available. The turret is really going to be the best counter to that so far, which Echo sticky mines can take advantage of and stop pretty easily.
Well, not sure how I feel about the Echo pick, but we'll see after it comes through here. It's all about buying time for the Echo to find a pick similar to Afar, but different in execution, as it were. Kenny under a lot of pressure. Vet pushing in, looking to not give him any of that time. Pog starting to dish out damage on the Symmetra, getting charged up, but Trippy Cow is managed to find a little bit of value. The Sticky Bomb's landing big, and Malala is going to go down to the Fire Strike now. Drops way, way low here, but the Echo remains high in the sky. Enough in HP on the ground. Bethcon and so push through. The damage adds up, and Holy Jalapenos' brawly aggression looks to prevail again.
Prevail for them, and they're going to have ultimates to be into pulling already with the Molten Core. Bethcon does end up getting back into the mech as well. The Shatter up for Vet. Going to be the support line coming out of spawn for them, but not really going to have tons to match. But Trippy Cow is going to be able to maybe duplicate that Reinhardt again. Trippy Cow being a pretty high SR tank player, so kind of unfair, able to work around the SR limits in the Harmony tier now. Coming in, probably going to try to duplicate this Reinhardt in the fight, but it goes down!
My God. Already, the Reds is going to make it even here, but Boop are already at a bit of a disadvantage. They push through the duplicate from Trippy Cow. Could be big again. The Reinhardt in, swinging like a madman, farming up the shadows. Already Vet shuts it down. Molten Core on the ground. It does not matter how many shadows you get because the rest of your team's dead.
Oh my goodness, Vet really stepping up so far in these last couple of maps here on the Reinhardt. The Stagger coming in onto the Layla as well. They're gonna have the window, and they're gonna have a big old shield thrown on point here from Pog on the Symmetra, and a lot was kind of invested there. They on the side of Boop, they do have a Shatter and a bomb here of their own that's gonna be up. But I mean, look at this aggressive positioning from the Jalapenos though. They gotta be really careful so they don't die here.
That they do. The Beth Bomb not finding any value. Seems it was all spent in the previous round. Now pushing in. They need to take care of the Symmetras, but they're in a decent position to do it. Boop are holding the strong, holding W, and they found finally the first pick. Amplification Matrix out from Holy Jalapenos, and Sir Blake has found another early kill here. Down on the Happy Bee. Another! Oh my God, this Torbjorn is ridiculous. Can he get another Molten Core up in just as much time? Probably can. Who am I even doubting at this point? Layla chucks out a bomb. Another 2K. My God, the consistency. Vet's turn. Trippy Cow, actually. No, forget that. I forgot. There's a third diva in the game. Finds a kill down on the Abe. And yet, as much as they may be contesting at 99, Trippy Cow is dancing on top of this drum, but no rhythm is going to keep you going through this one.
No, you see the ultimate coming out from Torben here with the Molten Core, able to clear a lot out of point, but Vet did go down. With Kenny falling, though, there's not going to be the shield to counteract it, and now as the point stalls over, Jalapenos going to be holding on. It's on the Happy Bee to contest here, but it's not going to matter. The Jalapenos end up winning here on control, and now going up 3-1 here in the series.
And as I add a tally mark to my Holy Jalapenos sticky note, you see them come away with another map, and I feel like Boop are swapping away from the things that worked, right? The Echo is okay, but imagine a Pharah there on that final map. It would have made such a difference. There's no hit scan to deal with it. There was absolutely nothing they would have been able to do, and I'm questioning why we didn't see picks like that come out when they were working so well before as well. Trippy Count not playing on the Hanzo. Like after map 2, that just stopped.
Yeah, I know they wanted to go with the Echo pick there, and I mean, you saw the play of the game was massive. I mean, Trippy Cow on the Reinhardt is a scary sight, but I don't know if really the Echo was getting enough value outside of the ultimate that you would have gotten by running the Hanzo or the Pharah like you were talking about there.
Yeah, let's see if they can fix their errors though, because I feel like as much as normally we'll see teams adapt, and Holy Jalapenos, they haven't had to. Boop has done so negatively which is crazy because they're making the games close still, but at the same time, they're making them as unclose as they possibly can by not playing the things that just worked.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're putting enough stress on their DPS line, realizing what they really need to win these games. As we head into Anubis, I think they might get debated out again.
Yeah, they might. You might see the fire coming out now. I think for Boop on attack, it's sometimes a pretty good point from it here. The hit scan from Jalapenos has been pretty solid. But before we get over to Anubis, a couple of updates ready for you guys here, coming from our other games going on in the Discord tier. We have the side of the of Caliber versus the Hanamura Hellhounds, and 3-2 here for Caliber. Hellhounds taking another map now, trying to even the series up. Then over to the Flashbacks versus Modify in the Harmony tier, tied 2-2 now. A really close game we have coming out again on the Harmony tier. Again, the winner of this match going against the winner over there for the finals. And then update from the Transcendence tier between Pogfish and Second Chance. Second Chance end up taking the 4-2 victory and moving on to the next round.
Well, quality stuff from all the teams here at Tranquility. Good to know those matches are close. And here in our own semifinal match of Harmony tier, Boop and Holy Jalapenos are going to be taking us to a little map called Blizzard World. And I feel like there's yet another sort of wrench thrown into the mix, as it's a bit of an interesting map team composition-wise, especially without the Orisa and the Mei in the inside of the pool.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a good pick though out of Boop. The Pharah is really good here on attack, and especially on second point with how wide open things are. And the Hanzo, of course, being another strong hero here on these maps where you get these long sight lines are in like these medium range levels. I think it's really strong for teams to be running that. But at the same time, if you're the side of the Jalapenos on defense, not a bad place to be running the Torb, which has been doing really well for them here on these last couple of maps. So both teams kind of having maybe something in their back pocket that they want to have going to this next fight. But I mean, from how well Jalapenos have done so well on these hybrid and escort maps so quickly, I gotta still give it to them here. Which if this is Boop's do or die time, they need to win 3 straight now to end up coming back here, as we are in a 1-4 scenario here in our playoffs. And again, Boop really got to step up their game here and push it.
Boop need to be careful, but so do Holy Jalapenos, right? It's 1 or 2 changes away team composition wise for Boop, and I think player wise as well. 1 or 2 small changes, and all of a sudden this match could be turned on its head. So Holy Jalapenos need to be just as ready.
They really do. I mean, probably just like having a little bit in their back pocket, thinking like, how well they've been playing these last couple of maps. I mean, definitely looking dominant on Busan. But I mean, just think about how close we were back on Kings Row, our last hybrid map that we ran. So maybe you're going to see how well. I think Alayla's done a great job so far on the Diva. And Diva always been pretty strong here on second point. I think having that ability to take up a lot of the high ground really enables some of the DPS for teams. And we'll see if they end up running that here. They might be sticking with the Rein Zarya, though.
I suspect more Rein Zarya, honestly. We saw a little bit of dive. It didn't work at all. It was such a struggle for them to actually get in on any of these snipers, any of those long sight lines. And it feels like a real comfort pick, right? You've got Bethcon running on Diva and Zarya. I feel like I couldn't ask for anybody better from Harmony here to do exactly that role. And with that, Holy Jalapenos have been able to take over this tank game right now. At first, it felt like Kenny and Vet were going back and forth, but it's starting to lean a little bit more towards that Holy Jalapenos side.
Yeah, it is. And now you see kind of like a little bit of what we are expecting out of both teams here. You see that Torb on the defense with Waffleman over on that McCree. They're going to be running the Baptiste and the Lucio here. So not going to have tons of, they're not going to have the Ana or the Mercy for no resurrects, but the Pharmacy out of Abe. Abe's done such a good job tonight on that Pharah. Going to have to put a lot of pressure onto Mr. Trippy Cow and on that turret, trying to take it down for their team. The Baptiste, though, are gonna be is gonna be pretty big here for Honeybee. For Happy Bee, I think. But look at this good rotation and position that the side of the Holy Jalapenos are taking.
Oh boy, here it comes though, pushing in very very slowly are Holy Jalapenos, and that's the right choice. When you have a fire in the sky, it's all about buying time, allowing the splash damage to come through, and letting them go to work. And Abe's done just exactly that. Now, though, I feel like Booper's starting to catch on, pushing aggressively, and not finding much of anything. They're playing so patiently, and you can't play patiently against Afar. You gotta take the fight before she kills your team! Putting in the damage, Trippy Cow goes down to a fire strike because he's already half health, and now it's a firing range for Abe on the point. As Holy Jalapenos take more and more space, the health bars get lower and lower for Boop, and the fight gets closer and closer to end it.
Wow, those DPS ults thrown out from the side of the Jalapenos there too. Don't know if they were really necessarily needed with just Waffleman kind of remaining and Alayla over on this baby diva. But, I mean, you know, win the point quick. That seemed to work pretty well for them here tonight. They're going to have a lot of time going into second. And it looks like the side of Boop, someone on point still contesting Mr. Trippy Cow, but Boop going to hold off here, just set up for a second point hold now. They're not going to have their Torb close spawned with them to get set up onto this high ground. And now you see Abe switching over to this Hanzo, maybe trying to have a little bit more high ground control, snipper over to the Lucio. But we have 3 ultimates up for the side of the Jalapenos now. The bombs can be really strong here with how open these points can be for teams, and Vet with that shatter as well, and has done so much work with that tonight. You got to be looking and expecting that to continue on. And now Trippy Cow switching over to the Hanzo now from that Torb as well. So a Hanzo battle, and finally going back to the heroes you were pointing out earlier.
Yeah, Trippy now can put in work, now can find those early picks that we saw out of him before, but there's already an ultimate advantage for Holy Jalapenos, and we've seen what they can do with it. The Beth Bomb doesn't quite connect now as they cower backwards, but they are split apart here. Boop need to regroup with one another, and they will do exactly that. It's a little bit of a high ground advantage now. Trippy Cow waiting up there with the Hanzo, searching shot after shot. And I'll tell you what, Holy Jalapenos, they better hold on to their heads before they lose them. Wolfman with the Deadeye finds the D-Mech down onto 1. And now they can follow up on that Shattered Bomb. Pick one to block, but you can't take both, Vet.
Yeah, good job there. Great coordination from Boop. 3 ults invested in that fight, but they needed to stop this payload before it got too much closer there to second point. So now they're going to have this window from the side of Happy Bee, maybe be able to give Trippy Cow the Dragon Strike pretty early, holding up on this high ground. But Vet and Pog still have their ultimates, along with that Nano Boost from Malalia, which can't be understated. In these brawly fights for Vet, it's going to just give him so much more damage swinging into these Death Bally comps. But double support ults for the side of Boop, if they play this right, they definitely can withstand these two pretty big ults that are left.
Oh god, it's Pog's turn. Has a Deadeye ever not connected tonight? A shadow out of it finds another couple of people on the ground, but no kills. Surprisingly, here's Booper peeling for it exceptionally well. Now dragging out from Mr. Trippy Cow. Doesn't get much of anything as Vet continues his crusade through the back line of Boop, and this cart nears the end of point B.
Big sleep there at the end from Malalia, able to withstand that flanking high noon from Waffleman, not able to connect on much. Abe was able to get that Dragon Strike off before falling, and now 4 minutes 15 is still just so much time. I feel like the Jalapenos have just been setting what seems like records so far tonight with how quick they're able to take these points on these hybrid and escort maps.
Yeah, starting to get a little bit ridiculous here, but Trippy Cow's put a little bit of a stop to the momentum with another one of those patented early fight. If he can continue with this, he can start to muscle that ultimate economy back into the hands of Boop so they can start winning these fights more heavy-handedly. Cart continues forward, though, and this one's dead even. Bethcon's got a bomb. Save up, though, and Snipper. Will they use the sound barrier is the question. The engagement out. The bomb through. Shot. They won't connect, but the Deadeye forces the shield to go the other, and does eventually take out Kenny. Now Sans main Boop have to figure out how to win this fight. And you know what? If Trippy Cow can't find an early pick, I don't suspect we see Boop doing much of anything here.
No, Jalapenos just keep pushing through to point, and they have all of the time in the world to push through here. They're going to have both their support ultimates, and Abe's going to have that Dragon Strike very shortly to end up giving them just even more positional hold here. Coming on the attack, both Reinhardt's going to be just pushing for position early on, though.
Sound barrier now coming out from Holy Jalapenos, but backing away as Kenny gets aggressive with the hammer, dishing out so much damage. Bomb is in the works for Alayla. Do they even need it though? The health bars for Holy Jalapenos are already just so low.
That Dragon Strike from Trippy Cow was fantastic. It ended up splitting Vet off from his team there on the Reinhardt and wasn't able to end up going through the fight. Now they're going to take a quick reset. Still 2 minutes and 35 seconds left for them. Ultimates are going to be up here from Boop. They definitely have the chance of holding this with what they have. They have the High Noon. They have the bomb here from Alayla. Bethcon now switching over to the Zarya. Maybe trying to get that Graviton Surge just so they can clean up this last fight with the payload, not having to push so far, but they're taking an interesting approach and they're going around backwards on them, kind of flipping sides.
That's exactly what they've done. They're running straight into the Dragon. There was a nice eat on an anti-nade. Now a bomb out from Boop, but it's not quite where it needs to be. Deadeye from the high ground, and Boop are completely surrounded here. They're getting picked apart. Jalapenos going to head their way straight to the end of the map. Will anybody even be able to touch? Absolutely.
Round 1 complete.
Wow. Good job there from the Jalapenos. I love that rotation they took there. Boop would that have when they had all these ultimates up, like they had that Dragon Strike and they had the High Noon, they had to choose either to try to push through it and stop the cart progress or just let it happen and try to get a pick of their own. And they weren't able to get enough of the picks available to hold on to the fight. In a minute 52 on Blizzard World, again, we've been mentioning how quick these takes have been for the Holy Jalapenos, and a minute 52 left on a hybrid map like this, especially on Blizzard World, is really good for them. And they're definitely going to be looking to try to get the W here now, with Boop need to have just as fast an attach now.
Ready.
Now needing to match that though, Holy Jalapenos, they've lined up a team composition that is pretty reminiscent of what we've seen before from them. I'm more interested in what Boop are going to come out with. What would you?
I mean, I really want to see that Pharah. I mean, I know if you're the side of the Jalapenos, you got to be expecting it, but it's a lot easier to go back here on this attack and switch off the Pharah once they see some of these hit scans being available for everybody. And I mean, I think it's just been working so well for Boop tonight that they stick with it. Okay, they're going with the Echo. The Echo's okay for it. I don't think Trippy Cow got tons of value early on with that mid fight. The ultimates totally got tons of work in for them, and maybe this is the point for them to use it. It's so wide open for Trippy Cow to get these sticky bombs in.
Well, we'll have to see what they can do. They've got all of the facilities they need to execute. No mercy though this time, which I honestly like a lot more. With the Echo, they just want to get aggressive with it, get him in, look for the sticky bombs, and that's a good choice from them as they wrap all the way around the point, taking what they think is an advantageous position, giving themselves least control of the high ground for the time being, as Kenny trying to wait, trying to bait out anything on this point. But the hold is so strong here from Holy Jalapenos, making sure nothing's happening. A single arrow goes awry from Abe, and it could be this push completely taken apart, and all that time wasted. Boop still not committing to much of anything. They're gotten themselves a little bit of ult charge. Heavy maybe gonna build up to an amp matrix. I'm not sure what their plan is here, but they gotta press the W key at some point. There it is. Now we're playing Overwatch. A little bit of point aggression now from Boop. The damage starts to add up, and Holy Jalapenos, they gotta respect it. Beth's gone out of mech. Now Abe on the high ground, drop low. Focusing team should finish him off, but should become low in their own right. The kills rolling the way of Boop, and now traded out the shatter from Vet again. 4 people on the ground. A fight 1 ticket away. Holy Jalapenos have done it again.
My goodness. Vet just insane on this Reinhardt tonight. I mean, just coming in clutch when their team needed it. Boop invested a lot into that fight. They threw in the window, but they were still able to prevail. And now 3 ults up on the side of the Holy Jalapenos. They have the Dragon, they have the window, and they have the beat here to kind of counteract some of these ults that are coming in from Boop. They do have the duplication ultimate here. You're probably going to expect it to go onto the Reinhardt. And wow, an early Dragon. Not able to find much with it though. Abe maybe trying to catch a few. And very ambitious. I'm sure they would have wanted that here as they pushed into point, but maybe trying to get that bob up from Pog could be really big if they're able to land a big dynamite here.
Oh god, Ant Matrix is out. It is, yeah, this is a no crossing zone. Catch it back! Oh, poor Bob! He had such a short leg. He had so much to live for. Oh, into the drink he goes. Holy Jalapenos, they're gonna win the fight anyways, but at what cost?
Oh,
he was so young, dude.
F in the chat there for Bob. We're gonna miss him. God bless Bob's soul. But now Boop have 5 ults waiting for them. They do have another vet shatter though. We've seen how big those can be, and the bomb back for Beth here. Minute 23 left on the clock here, and Boop need to take this so quickly. They can't. They're gonna be. They need to be able to try to have a similar time bank if they want to end up getting the victory here, and they need to take it. They can't be pushing overtime here on these first and second points.
Absolutely not. Not with the time bank that we've seen Holy Jalapenos have, but a shatter! Onto the ground they go! Vet's done it again. Bomb over from Layla though. Manages to find one traded back as Kenny goes down. No main tank, but they've got a spare from the duplicate. Finds a little bit of value with the shatter, but now out of it. Vet stands in the way. Tribicow's focusing beam does manage to dish out a little bit of damage. This is pretty good for Boop. They like these scrappy fights. This is why they were winning on the control point. They can do this all day. One member remains on the point for Holy Jalapenos, but it looks like that's going to be it. Boop get to see at least a little bit more of Blizzard World. They get to take that park hopper ticket over one more land.
Yeah, they had to use everything, but I mean, you need to use everything to win fights like those. And now, Jalapenos all going to be able to get spawned here and hold on to second point. Not tons of time going to be available. 2 minutes 45 seconds for Boop. Definitely enough time to push into third. And if they're able to push through without really any stoppages, they will definitely still have some time left on the clock for them. But any defensive holds that Jalapenos are able to do here will be very big for them, because Boop cannot get an overtime push here if they want to end up getting the win. If they're not, they're going to be trying to force for the draw again. They need to have this time for them. They need to win all of these fights here really early, which is going to come down to how well they use their ultimates, which right now they unfortunately don't have any.
Well, Pog had another Bob. Let's see if we abuse this one. Right, just waiting to start up, but you know what? I'm real scared for what could happen to our poor boy. Abe lines up a dragon though, and these ultimate charges are starting to get tipped off for Holy Jalapenos. The adaptive circuits on double trouble out as the duplicates in. Tribicow onto a Lucio sound barrier engage. What on earth is this? It's actually gonna work out. Let's take it so long with the shatter. 4 more people down, 2 kills traded up, but the follow-up damage isn't quite there. It feels like Boop are gonna continue through this one off of that sound barrier duplicate engage.
Yeah, that sound barrier is massive. The speed boost that they had there from the duplication let them get by without taking damage from that shatter, and then they were able to use that beat aggressively to take a lot of space, and then they were able to save the actual Lucio beat there to kind of counteract a lot of the ultimates from the Jalapenos. And now a minute 15 for them. They do have the bomb and they have the high noon with the shatter coming online, and Boop need to win this fight.
Wire to take this one. Bob and the bomb chucked in this time. No water to stop him. The bomb takes out Tribicow. Now the Bob is shutting down any silence they may want to do. And Boop, this one is looking like a hard out, but I love that they held on to their ultimates here. Actually, really smart play.
Oh, they needed to, because this is really do or die now. 46 seconds, 45 down now. This is definitely going to be last fight for them. They have both their tank ultimates though, and they have Waffleman with this high noon. I mean, they've got to get something pretty big off. Malalia does have the window, which has been working very well for them. Maybe Abe will be able to charge up a Dragon Strike pretty early, but I like this positioning from Boop, rotating around, and if they can push through this window without taking much damage, it can be big for them.
Oh, Layla's done it again. Oh, the bomb over. And Boop, when they need it, they clutch it out. Seemingly time and time again, they're a solid bomb. And I kind of want to call into question, Malali's been doing this a lot. Placing the amplification matrix directly in front of the other team, and Boop just kind of walked past it. I feel like that's something that Holy Jalapenos could be getting a lot more value out of.
Yeah, it really could. And now Boop's going to be pushing forward. Waffleman does end up going down. That's going to delay the tanks from trying to take out some of these staggers for them. But yeah, the windows haven't been the biggest coming out here yet on the side of the Jalapenos. Trying to use it to get maybe one of those initial picks, but it's so much better to use those to try to get fire strikes out of your Reinhardt to build up those earth shatters so much quicker.
Yeah, well, who needs fire strikes when you've got Abe on a Hanzo? Oh my god. Feels like it's just the character of the night. No matter who's playing it, they are popping off. Sent right back in spawn. Boop have to buy their time. 55 seconds remain on the clock, though. Remember, if they take this into overtime, they're playing for OT again.
I mean, Abe, for the most part, might have just caused it so that it will be an overtime push for them with how long it'll push through. And the Dragon Strike coming in too, picking off another one. Oh my gosh. Abe, what is he doing?
Vets dropped low, Abe's popping off. Dragon splits the team beautifully. There's no speed to get him out. 30 seconds on the clock. I mean, it feels like we say it every time, but it's do or die for Boop.
It is. This is really it now. Last fight getting coming through. They have to do the overtime push if they want to even push for the draw on this map. But if they end up losing this point here, that will be the game, and Jalapenos will be moving on.
Could be the end of their playoff run. The tension is high here for Boop, but all they need is a win. Good defense measures from Loyola, taking out one. Motivated field out. Oh, but Vet looks to single-handedly end the playoff run. Tribiko comes in, Summers from both sides. Oh no, the duplicate's knocked into the hole. What a massive charge from Vet. Now his team can push through. Holy Jalapeno, sweep it on up. Overtime takes down. And Jalapenos take down Boop in the playoffs.
Oh my god, Vet, what on earth was that? That was the craziest Reinhardt plays to end the fight there, and I don't think there's a more fitting way for that match to end, with Vet coming in clutch when their team needed it, getting the massive picks, and congratulations there to the Holy Jalapenos, and such a great match between them and Boop. They will be moving on here to the Harmony Tier Finals.
I mean, both of these teams, congratulations. I don't think you can look at Boop and say that was a bad season or that was a bad game, and honestly, looking at the previous matchup, Boop went down 0-4 to Holy Jalapenos. Clearly, that has gotten a lot closer since we saw so many great things out of them. Holy Jalapenos, though, they're just climbing higher and higher, and I'm not sure how the Habaneros have done in the rest of their match day, but from what I can tell, they're coasting just as well, and the Spicy Boys looking to take over 2 tiers at once would be revolutionary.
It will. Jalapenos now going back, your Harmony Tier champions last season. They will be returning again here. They'll be going up against the winners between Modify and the Flashbacks, which we hope to be bringing to you guys here in a little bit, trying to catch the last of their maps. But before we head over there, breaking down the end of the game here between Boop and the Holy Jalapenos, I think it really just came down to the Jalapenos coordination. After those first couple of maps, they seemed to after that first control map, seemed to take a breath, slow things down, start planning out their fights a little bit better, using their ultimates when they needed to. And they seemed to be just ready for what Boop had. They had responses to their planned ultimates. They stacked theirs well. They didn't overuse. But I mean, also at the same time, I don't really think you can pinpoint one thing that Boop was doing like horribly wrong, or somebody that was completely underperforming. They all were performing so very high. I mean, the DPS were doing a great job as well. And I mean, congratulations there over to Boop. One quick update to give out to you guys from the Discord tier. We have a final score available here. We have Caliber in our 4th game of the night, defeating the Hanamura Hellhounds 4-2.
Well, congratulations to them as well. And you know what? Congratulations to the audience here. You guys get to catch another game. And you know what? If you're enjoying the cast, go ahead and shoot Booth, me, and Juke a follow. I'm sure we'll have that graphic up at the end of this stream. But we're doing everything we can here at Overwatch Tranquility to get as much of the action for playoffs coming right at you guys. Not to mention, this playoff season has been amazing. So stick around, because there's more to come tonight. Just a little bit. Keep your eyes on your screens, your butts in the seats. We'll be back with that final match as quickly as possible. And we're back, ladies and gents. We've got Flashbacks versus Modify. Modify currently ahead 3-2. Flashbacks about to start their own push here on Route 66. It seemed like Modify were able to complete the map with a bit of time left in the bank, though. Looking at these teams, lots of players to note, but I'll put some attention towards one of them. We'll talk about Bard for a second, because as they say, those who can't do cast, and he's playing, which is very scary, but he's on the Bjorn, which I love to see.
It's one of his better heroes, you know? I mean, Wolven's going to have to do some work here on the Echo. And actually, they're running the Pharmacy as well, so Bard's turret's going to have a hard time staying alive with how much they have between both sides here. And now you're going to see them put in a lot of pressure, and I do like the position from Beastman here, up forward.
Was that a Torbjorn scream?
I
That
think
was
so.
horrifying. I've
I don't
never
want to hear it
heard
again.
that.
Yeah, never again, please.
What on earth? Alright, Flashbacks having a semi-successful push so far. They've taken out one, now trying to grind out the rest of them here. Anti-nade lands down to the back line. A lot of from Void losing a member. Modify could actually look for recontest though, as their players are slowly beginning to respawn, but Nova's continuing to get value up on this far. MTT trying to contest. Dine comes up big, and now they're just bleeding members time after time. Modify cannot get a proper recontest in here.
No, and the high noon coming out from MTT there as well, catching the Mercy should basically stop this push here, because now Nova and Wolven are just going to be sitting ducks in the sky for MTT to shoot them down with it. With them pushing back now, Modify looking in a good position here with ultimates coming online for them. This nano boost into the Reinhardt, or maybe even to the Torb. We can see Barb run in there. Could be pretty large for them, but look out for Nova here. They don't have tons to counteract this barrage here. No beat drop available for them, no diva to eat. So Nova's barrage could really open things up here for the side of Flashbacks.
Yeah, the famous European Open Division team called Avoid, and they nano boost their Torbjorn all the time, and it works out so well when they want to get aggressive. It is so much damage, but it does go down onto the Reinhardt. And now the push out from Flashbacks actually just completely ignores that. They throw the barrage down, and the damage from the sky is actually just adding up so much. And this composition is really interesting. We haven't had like any time. This game's super weird because we're popping right into the middle of it. But what do you think they're looking to do with this composition? Do you think they've been successful at that?
I think they've been successful on the attack here, for sure. I think what they were doing a really good job with is Nano Boost there on the Beastman kind of forced the side of Modify to fall backwards a bit, and then left Nova and Wolven put in a lot of damage. But I think Modify did a good job on that first point hold there. They really just didn't get their ultimates up and running early enough to deal with this. Now they're going to have the Graviton Surge here. They're going to have the High Noon as well as the beat drop from Bard, going to be having that Molten Core to help take space here. And now you see that turret from Bard gonna put work there onto Nova, and that's the time for Modify to push right in.
The res goes up, the Graviton chucked in here, and they absolutely need to win this fight right now. Modify are coming in big, and Bard follows up Molten Core on top just to make sure they're dead, but 3 ultimates used for a fight win where we saw Flashbacks not use a single.
Yeah, for Flashbacks, that was smart for them. I like them holding on here. They're going to have 5 ults to push back in with now. Maybe a little bit of an over-investment from Modify using both support ults in that fight, but they do have the Shatter here available for them. But, oh, that's a really good pick there for Modify.
Yeah, but it will get resurrected immediately by Cersei. Traded back out again. Beastman goes down. DNA takes out Bard. Been the bane of their existence for the time being. The Shadow, though, hits people, puts them on the ground, and another fight cleaned up here by Modify.
Yeah, good job there. That was insane. They're able to push through there with Flashbacks having all of his ultimates up. They still didn't invest them, which is showing their how well they are there to call off using those ultimates after they saw the fight was lost. They still have 5 available for them, but now both support ults will be up for Modify. The Lucio will be coming from spawn pretty late here at the end, but a nano boost here to help sustain through some of this, and maybe a beat drop could help negate a lot of this if Flashbacks opens up way too many.
Well, a good timed beat could be the difference between a won fight and a lost fight, and a lot of time off their clock right now. Sound barrier used from Modify, but it hasn't won them the fight yet. That will, though, take the Mercy out of the air along with the Winston, and all of a sudden the dive composition looking more like a dead composition as Flashbacks cower back into their spawn.
Yeah, I think this is the time for them to start making changes. Beastman going over to that Reinhardt, just free shatters when they had the Winston there after they broke the bubble with such high damage from that Torben McCree. Hard to keep that bubble working too well there. So I like that switch over to the Reinhardt. Now both DPS ults up here for flashbacks.
Oh, DNA with the big bomb, taking on the turret and the Ana here. Flashback may get to continue on this point if they don't lose their Reinhardt. They do come out alive. Beastman continuing forward, and now Sans main tank. It's going to be a really tough hold for Modify.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for them. I like that initiation there from DNA. Really the only ult they had to use in that fight. They still have both DPS ults if Modify is able to come back and contest here, which it looks like they're going to be able to. But Stand Bumper does have the grab. That's fight winning within its own, especially if they combo that here with Bard's Molten Core.
Bard coming in. There's the graviton. It's eaten by DNA immediately. Shuts down the push. Now Nova over top of the barrage. Copied over. Wolf and Mr. Quick Play coming up big, but was that ultimate needed? Probably not. But nonetheless, we're going to see flashbacks push through point B.
Yeah, and you're going to see swaps now over on the side of the of Modify. You see Stand Bumper going over to the Sigma, going with the double shield composition here. Possibly going to see Bard switching as well, going over to the Soldier 76 now, maybe trying to take advantage of some of that high ground. And maybe they were expecting that you were going to see the Pharah and Echo out, but actually DPS switches over on the side of flashbacks as well, going over to that Reaper and the Doomfist. Going to apply a lot of pressure in these close quarter spaces, as well as DNA going over to the Sigma as well. So double shield coming out from both teams.
Shatter pushing out. Nothing's been found yet, but flashbacks are going to move forward here, which is a little bit risky because now they're out of resources. Shatter back at him, does not connect. Instante needs to continue to back up. Buys time for MTT, and the Deadeye finally counts so many ultimates used, but finally the value gained. Now Beastman can take himself back on the spawn, and we will see Modify hold on to see another day. 1 minute on the clock. It's getting dicey though. The flashbacks are facing the end of their playoff career.
Real dicey. They need to win this here close. One good thing here about Escort for them, though, is going to be the fact that if they are able to push to overtime, they're still going to get time left on the clock. We do see a pause coming out here. So they get a little bit of time here to break down before we go into this next fight. Nano boosts are going to be up for both teams. Besides that, not tons going to be available. You do see that Modify are going to have slightly close up to the Gravitic Flux. That's really the closest thing, on only 65%. So kind of a weird decision here. What do you do as the side of flashbacks? Do you try to, if you're able to get a pick, do you invest in nano boost and keep trying to push in here? Or do you maybe just try to bait out and try to build in some more of the ultimates, or try to build up some more of your own ultimates, take a quick fight, and then come back in? So it's interesting to see what they do with that there. But any pick that Modify is able to get here early on is just going to be detrimental to flashbacks.
I mean, I think the best thing they can do is wait out the nano from Lekka, look for a punch to peel away the Reinhardt, and then engage with their own. But if they pop their own nano too early, it's immediately just going to be countered by one onto Instante. So not much of a way to win the fight if they do that. But at the same time, it's not a lost fight if you just trade nano for nano, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Before we get back into a big thank you again to Captain Jack with 5 more gifted subs. Sorry we missed that there earlier. Thanks again for all the support. And we ran a quick poll earlier to see who people voted for MVP coming out from our last match. Malalia winning the vote there. 23 votes over Vet at 21. Do want to point out, looks like we did have some contributions and bits there from Malalia to vote for herself a few more times. Gotta respect the grind there. Both of those players. I would do it too. I'm just not good enough to be listed as an MVP candidate.
I did not see that. That is hilarious.
Well, whatever team is going to be winning tonight is going to have to go up against the Holy Jalapenos from earlier. Right now, Modify looking like they're in a pretty good place to take this map here. Flashbacks, though, have got to come in very clutch with what little ultimates they have and hopefully try to build it up and get a pick early on in this fight.
Now, we can talk all we want about this next fight, and we didn't get to see earlier on in the series. This is, of course, a series that's gone on long enough that I expect these teams to be adapting plenty. Where do you think these teams started, right? This game, 3-2, does not really look 3-2. It looks like Modify is sort of taking it away the same way that Jalapenos did. And in my mind, I feel like this has probably played out the same way.
Yeah, honestly. It's tough. I mean, you really want to see Flashbacks be able to push it something overtime here, keep this one competitive, but it's going to be hard for them. I mean, not much able to work with. It's so hard in these fights. But I mean, if you're only going to have one ultimate up, I always like when it's the nano boost. It can either give Beastman a lot of space here on the Reinhardt to take up they take a lot of space initially in these fights, or maybe put on the Nova and get a pretty big pick there onto one of the supports over on the side of Modify as well.
Yeah, now as we wait to come in, honestly, I want to ask so many questions. I want to interview these players about what's been going on, but this pause has been going on a good bit of time. So I'll go ahead and shout out a couple things. You guys want to follow Overwatch Tranquility on Twitter at OW Tranquility. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Door_Cast on Twitter. You want to follow Juke on Twitter, who's doing all the production, who's been around for so long, who puts in so much work. You can follow him on Twitter at friend Juke, and Booth, you can find him at BoothOW on Twitter. I'd take time and shout out all the players, but honestly, they put in enough work. I'm sure they're getting as much attention as they need.
We need all of the support we can get. That's why we're doing this. We just like seeing our names up on the screen and people like us and stuff. I mean, that's the whole reason I'm doing it. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I'm having a good time. I am ready. Are they gonna? Let's see. This is interesting. I think
this internet issue still looks like.
All right, they're ready.
Ah, there we go. Okay, whew, back just in time. Maybe. Okay. It looks like, yeah, they are going to be doing a little bit of a sub here. It looks like just internet issues that were going on for Wolven. Which, I mean, if you're Flashbacks, it does stink not to have Mr. Quick Play out there, but Wolven only had 1% ultimate there on the McCree, so not missing too much there. At least in losing ultimates, which that part's good at least.
And yeah, I was actually going to mention the same exact thing. This is the biggest thing we see when we see disconnects. And I remember it was the Fighting Potatoes versus, oh god, was it Undead Batteries?
Oh, you mean the Fighting Potatoes Comets game?
Oh yes, the one that went on for 2 days because of the server issues with Blizzard.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You want to talk about disconnect screwing a team over? Oh my god. That's unfortunate, man. That was like, it's not even a disconnect, it's a server crash. Now though, it's just a disconnect and we get a respawn. Conatees gets to come in. Kindly enough, your modifier going to allow them to play on. I'm not actually sure if that's just rule or if that is them letting them, but you like to see it. Either way, Conatees now coming in on the McCree, same exact composition, same exact final chance here for Flashbacks as they start their engagement. Nano early onto Beastman, and this should just be a nano right back on Instante, but he drops so low, he gets saved by it, but eventually will go down. MTT trades out Conatees, and I'm being though, 2 tanks still alive for the side of Flashbacks, and that matters so much for how long they can live on this card. Vidic Flux picks him up, should be doing about half damage. Back down, Thirsty taken out on the Lucio, and the more they lose here, the worse it's getting because their spawn advantage, they're starting to hurt. Shatter lands onto 2, but he can't follow up any damage. They just get right back up. Deadeye out, Bard doing tons in the back line here for Modify. Horns looking sign, sealed to 10 seconds on the clock until we see Flashbacks possibly flash right there out of playoffs.
Yeah, this spawn's coming in. Nova getting at the end does have the Meteor Strike to be able to contest a little bit longer as the ball comes through, but the Visor now coming out of the back here from Vard, able to put in a little bit of damage left. The ball trying to contest you from Beastman, not able to do too much, and now just the spawns trying to trickle in if you're the side of Flashbacks, but it's not looking good.
It ain't hanging down, and Modify are going to look to continue their way through to the finals to meet Holy Jalapenos. I know that all of you spicy boys are watching in the chat. Look out, because here they come. Modify are looking strong.
Modify looking strong and continuing here on to the finals to take on the Holy Jalapenos. But congratulations to Flashbacks. I think one of the teams initially people weren't expecting to make it far here into the playoffs. And then at the end of the season, just completely turning around how well they played, showing up here so far, doing a great job. And GG's out to both teams, but it will be Modify versus Jalapenos here in the Harmony Tier Finals.
You know what? At the beginning of the game, Bard was typing in the all chat asking if I would give him a casting VOD review. I don't think he's going to have time for that. He's got finals ahead of him. So do everybody here at Modify. Congratulations to them, man. What a game. What a night. Both of our semifinal Harmony series going the absolute distance. Slugfest either way, but at the end of the day, only 2 teams are continuing forward. And that's Holy Jalapenos versus Modify. I'm sure that'll be coming up next week, correct?
Yes, that will be next week for us. We do have, of course, we have 16 teams in the Transcendence and the Discord tier. So it'll be 2 weeks before we have their finals. Next week will be the finals, though, here in the Harmony tier. Should be looking for that to possibly come around on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, but keep your eyes and ears open for that.
I mean, I know that if there's ever been a final in Tranquility history that you need to go back and watch, it was the Harmony final from last season. It went 7 maps, didn't it? It was ridiculously good.
It went more than 7 maps. That one went 8 maps.
Yeah, and I expect this one to be just as good. Holy Jalapenos coming in, and I feel like although the SR hasn't changed, the level of play in Harmony has only gotten better as we've gone on. You guys absolutely won't want to miss it. And you know what else has leveled up? The production here at Overwatch Tranquility. I want to thank everybody on the Twitch team as well as Juke on production. I've been joined by Booth. You can find him at BoothOW. I've been Dor. You can find me at Dor_Cass. Anywhere else, I'm sure you can look up Overwatch Tranquility. Thank you guys so much for coming out and supporting the players through their playoff runs. Congratulations to all the teams that won. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.